Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo. This is the MeWe Fairs for Energizing Body, Mind, Heart, and Soul. It's one of our awakening panels, and today's theme, we usually have themes on our panels, is healing your inner child. Currently, there are 4 of us, and there may be 8 of us on the panel today. As more of us arrive, we'll be introducing ourselves and talking about the theme, and then we'll be available to answer your questions. It is free to be here to listen and learn, and it's a great opportunity to practice opening your intuition. And it is a small price to ask a question of the panel. You can ask a question on anything, as well as questions on the theme. And as you hear us introducing ourselves, you'll get a better idea of who we are and how we work, and really all kinds of questions are great. We're here to support you and to support us all learning together in community. All right, so yeah, we're gonna, and this is recorded. It's gonna be posted up on YouTube. And if you wanna ask a question, you're welcome to come up on Spotlight and ask. You can also ask anonymously if you want. You can just put your question in the chat and I'll read it. And you also can change your name in Zoom and you can answer totally anonymously. It's really up to you what you wanna do. We have a lot of people come up on the stage with us and more people are joining. Appreciate reaching so many people. All right, well, Crystal, take 2-3 minutes and tell us about who you are and what you do. And yeah, we'll talk about the theme after. And I may need to unmute each of you as we go around.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Crystal Novak. I'm a psychic intuitive reader, and I also do energy and healing work. I've been doing this for about 40 years. I connect into source when we're working together, and the information comes to me that's most important for you to hear in the moment. And that can be about anything. And I like to think of myself as offering healing work in that when we work together, the information that comes through is designed just for you. And so it's pertinent to whatever's going on in your life. And oftentimes we find that the work that we do together allows you to get to a new place with yourself and have breakthroughs on things so that you can then step into the next phase of your life in a more authentic fashion. So looking forward to discussing the theme of the panel today and hopefully getting to work with some of you in the audience. Thank you.
And maybe if you don't mind sharing, maybe could you share just a little bit too of your history of how you opened and like how answers arrived for you and just some of the, do you mind sharing a little bit more?
No, not at all.
Great.
Except it's hard to explain, but I'll try. I just know stuff. I mean, that sounds, but that's what it is. Stuff just comes to me. And
is it claircognizance? Like you just have the thoughts, like the information, like it's just here in more of a kind of a mental way, or does it come a whole bunch of ways?
It's all the clairs, including E for empathy, which I call an eclair. Ha ha. It's bad, but somebody had to do it. Yeah, it just comes in lots of different ways. And a lot of times I also will feel it in my body as well. A lot of times what will happen is the information comes in, I feel it in my body, and then it's translating what that feels like, what I'm experiencing then, and sharing that with the person who's sitting with me. And it can be just about anything. I mean, I used to be a general contractor and I would hit a snag in my job and I'd be walking into Home Depot and I'd say, okay, you guys, I need your help right now. I've got to fix this thing and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I need your guidance. Okay. Walk over to the plumbing aisle. This, and this. Cool. Thank you. Pop, walk out. It's just, I can't tell you more than that. It's what it is. And hopefully that explained it.
It's great. And just one more thing, you said you've been doing it 40 years. Have you been open
Yes.
since you were a child and you knew you were, but you kept it inside, or was there an opening process?
I didn't know that's what it was when I was little. I grew up in a very traumatic home environment. And so my gift was very helpful because it helped me read the room all the time and how to stay safe. I didn't know that anybody else didn't do the same thing. And so as I started to get older, I'd be talking to people and I would say something, they'd look at me like, how in the living boo do you know that? And I'd be like, I don't know. Doesn't everybody do this? And so I started turning it down after that insofar as sharing it with people because it would really freak people out. People are afraid like, oh, I'm going to look at everything about them and learn all their dark secrets. It's like, no, I got plenty of my own. I don't want to be looking at yours. And that's not the way it works. To me, that's unethical to read people without their permission. But yeah, it got more pronounced. I did some training in my very early 20s that allowed things to come through. And then I had the great fortune of belonging to a metaphysical meditation study group for 35 years that was led by a woman who channeled an ascended master, and he would come through and teach the class. So got massive amount of information from doing that, which in turn allowed me to hone my abilities even more. And one last piece I would add to that is the more personal clearing work I do with myself and shadow work I do with myself, the stronger things get. It's like your software is only as good as your hardware. So if this little drive isn't clean, nothing else is coming through clean either. So I can't take you where I haven't been, and I can't give you what I don't have. So the personal work to me to be better at this is very important.
Great, great. Yes, thank you for sharing a bit more about you
Thank
and your
you.
background. All right, let's see. Susy's next. Let me get you unmuted. And we've got more and more people
Okay.
coming. Just sorry, everyone, I keep
Woo!
posting the same information in the chat because we keep having more people arrive.
That's all right.
All right, go ahead, Susy.
Okay. Hiya. I'm Susie Parker Goins of Blue Lightning Healing. I am a channel, and that means I also tap into source, and I think all readers do. We tap in, and even non-practitioners tap into source in a way that resonates with them and is relatable to other people. So when I sit with somebody, I can tap in and see a great big map and see past lives, and I'll go through and ask questions. That's a lot of what I do, is ask your guides or ask your ancestors or ask source in general, what is it that we need to know here? I have been known to occasionally argue with them, but not ancestors. You don't argue with grandmas, but we go through and we ask the questions to get the clarification so that we meaning me and source and all our guides together can work to help you clear out whatever blockages are there. So if there's a past life that has had a recurring issue that's come down into this lifetime, if you've got an origin point in ancestral healing that needs to happen, we can talk to that ancestor and say, okay, here's what's going on, and help them clear so that healing can filter down into it. Peter Levine, who's a trauma specialist, says something to the effect of, as I heal, you heal, and as you heal, I heal.
Mhm.
So because we're all energy, just different frequencies, the table has a different frequency than sunlight and so on. Every time we do some kind of work, whether it's me working on my stuff, you working on your stuff, or just sending out love. I worked with somebody a couple of days ago, and it was like, here, send out love. I can't talk to the person you want to look at because I don't have permission, but we can still send them love, send them source. And that can positively impact the frequency. It raises the frequency, and it helps you to shift in your own right. I also do Reiki. Let's see, I said past lives. I can channel as your guide, or I can speak and deliver messages from your guides. What else do I do? There's a lot of, I can read cards, but I'm not doing that here. A lot of what I do comes up in the moment. So light language, DoveLight mentioned light language, and that made me, it's like, oh yeah, I do that too. I've my podcast, Blue Lightning Healing Meditations, which you can see on my website or on Spotify. I've been doing a lot of light language shorts. So I'll pick a topic and then light language the love out of that one. Yeah, I'm at bluelightninghealing.com. I've got a special, and that's in the chat. And I'm looking forward. I'm learning a lot about trauma and how it impacts us. So I'm looking forward to help to continue the conversation, to open up the topic, and so that we can all grow from that. Thanks.
Great. Thanks so much, Susie. We've got DoveLight next, and then we'll have Drasmin introduced too. And if any of the other practitioners that are on the panel come, just let me know in the chat, turn on your video, and I'll get you up front on the spotlight.
Oh, hello, my name is DoveLight. I come from the Great Spirit, the Divine, like many of you, like all of us, the Creator, the Source. I was born in Peru, and I have Amazonian and Indigenous and Andean ancestry. It's my honor and blessing to be here. And I'm just a regular person, genuinely, I am. just like everybody else. I have my strengths, I have my weakness, I have my good days, not so good days. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh. But through my spiritual journey to connecting or reconnecting to my soul, it's that I genuinely was able to tap into this power of unconditional love that you can actually feel. It's not so much as you can understand it by others talking about love, because we all have different versions of what love feels for us. But there is a true source of love, unconditional blessing, who love you no matter what and who you are. And through reconnected to what it was inside of me, I was able to understand a tiny bit of oneness. And so my work is based on soul work. I was born a very intuitive person, and as many practitioners had and many people who has a lot of wisdom in their soul had a very challenging childhood. And through closing my gift, through surviving, through reconnecting, through dream, to living a normal human life, I was able to re-encounter again that balance. And part of that balance is reconnecting with the non-physical part that we have. And through that, I was able to embrace, and I'm still doing so, the spiritual gift that we all have. I can read tarot and oracles because it's easier. It's art. It's beautiful. I can read the elements: fire, water, wind. I can do it through Zoom. I can read the elements. I do a lot of shamanic practices because that comes natural for me. And I do past life regression because through my life experience and through working with others, this new life, we all have an opportunity to start anew, but our subconscious, our soul sometimes carry that energy field from past lessons that need to be clear, if you will. So ancestral healing extremely strongly. We all have ancestors that we love, that we didn't meet, that we didn't get along, that we didn't like. There is so many threads. But the truth is that we are connected through that oneness, and they influence us, because we only didn't get the beautiful nose or the eyes, we also get the energy fields, the imprints, the things like that. So it's very important to always check how is the ancestral field affecting at these moments, to make sure that you don't have any entanglement, so you're not reliving someone's pain or someone's lessons. Even some ancestors can actually feel confused and attack you without unconsciously. So it's a beautiful work that at the end of it is about love and compassion, but to put the boundaries and to know that you are part of a beautiful, bigger source, and it can be balanced. Just like we also have a beautiful source, but we also need to remember how to balance ourselves. I do love soul retrieval, when they're part of your soul. This is not new age. This is an ancient concept that it's all around the ancient cultures in the world, including mine. When you pass through something traumatic or something very challenging, a piece of your life leave your body because it needs to survive. And it could be part of your inner child. But the thing is that that part who knows multidimensionality, it can go in any space, usually goes to the earth, but doesn't know how to come back. And then your adult self is going in the war and is feeling that emptiness, or that traumatic keeps coming. I don't understand why I cannot pass through, overcome this, or heal this part. It's because you are going through the same experience as an adult, going back to the energy field of trying to pull from the inner child that you left. So I love that work. It's beautiful work, and it's very simple. I do past life regression and a lot of things. I think I'm good for now. I think I speak a lot already. And I do have a coupon of 20% off discount by the code SPRING of any session of choice or any reading that you might feel called to work with me if you choose to do so. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, DoveLight. And just before we go to the next one, we keep having a lot of people joining the event. This is great. I'm glad it's such a big event. We do occasionally have problems with Zoom bombing, and when it's a big event, that's more likely to happen. I've got it set up so no one can unmute themselves. So practitioners, I have to be really conscious to be unmuting you. If anyone sees anything or there's something in the chat that is not okay, please let me know. I'm aiming to remove people and as quickly as we can. So thanks so much, everyone, for your collaboration in that. All right, so Drasmin, it's your first time on one of our panels. We're doing like 2 or 3 minute introductions. Tell us about who you are, what you do, and then we're going to be talking about the theme afterwards. So let me ask you to unmute and yeah, tell us about you.
Hi, everyone. Blessings. Thank you so much for being here, for choosing to join us today. I'm so grateful and blessed to be a part of this panel and to just bring to you who I am and my medicines. So I am many
just
things.
One moment, if I can pause you for a moment. I'm getting like a slight echo or something. Is anyone else having that?
Let me see if headphones help.
Yeah, let's see. It's very subtle.
Oh.
Thanks everyone for your patience while we work with our technology. It's exciting for us when we have new practitioners join the community. All right, let's see. How does this sound?
How is this?
It's still doing it. Or is
Really?
it, Crystal, it sounds better for you? It almost like it's bouncing off something in the room, or is it definitely going through the headphones?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's better.
Yeah, speakers, headphones. Is that
Or is
the
it still a little
same?
bit there? It's okay. Maybe it's just there a little bit. Yeah, Mercury, someone's saying, right, exactly. Go ahead. We can hear you well enough. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll just wear these headphones. I don't like to wear them, especially for these long events.
You can take them off. I don't think it's really making a difference. Go ahead and if you want, just start over from the beginning too, because I know it's a.
Okay. Get the singing bowl and clear the energy, clear the frequency. Okay. Where was I? Completely lost my train of thought. Come back, child. Okay. So I am Drasmin. I don't know what I am. I'm an artist and a writer and an empowerment educator. So I create a lot of content and courses for beings who are ready to be self-empowered, to take back control of their sovereignty and tap into and embody their divinity. And here, you know, I share with you that I do complex trauma decluttering because that is really the heart of my work. You know, in order to be empowered within self, we need to face those shadows. And sometimes those traumas can be so deep that they might not be obvious. They might just be viewed as patterns or habits or, you know, lifestyles that is actually rooted in deep traumas. And in my 10 plus years of doing trauma work, specifically around sexual and religious abuse trauma, I have discovered that everything really comes down to that feeling of safety. So I love that this panel is all about the inner child, because it is within that safety of that inner child where that trust gets violated or broken. And so I come in and I do a lot of listening in my sessions. I listen to how you speak. I listen to what you share, what you don't share, and just allow yourself to be heard, because that is really the first step, is voicing what is and opening that conversation. And within that, complex trauma decluttering that I do, once that trauma has started to clear, just like the weeds in a garden, you know, they need to be pulled out, the soil needs to be tended, then the soul purpose can be activated, because it has that nutritious soil of your mind, heart, body to really start fertilizing in and gestating in. And I read tarot, I pull oracle, I synthesize psychology and Eastern spiritual teachings, modalities, NFP tapping, EFT. Really, every session is individualized to the person who is approaching and coming to me for support, because what works for one is more than likely not going to work for another. So when I was asked to come and be a part of this panel and asked to share, what do I do? I'm like, well, how do I summarize that? Ultimately, what I'm here is to just shine a light on where you're stuck, how you're stuck, how can we get unstuck, and really just be the witness and give you little tools and tips and dust some cobwebs, so that then you can really step into that empowered self-awareness, whether that takes one session or several years. You know, the journey is really individualized and you can't rush your healing. So that's a little bit in a gamut of what I do, and you know, tapping into what DoveLight was saying, you know, retrieving the soul. That's really what complex trauma decluttering does. It retrieves your innocence. It brings back your sense of power, your sense of purpose, your confidence, your worth. It's a tender, gentle process. So a lot of patience is needed within that. Yet I know, because of my own experience of recovering from extreme trauma in my childhood, that it is not only possible to recover from a traumatic experience, whatever that experience might be, right? Because trauma is truly subjective. To tap into your purpose and to have a life where you are not struggling, where you're not depressed, where you can actually thrive and enjoy being in this human experience, because there's so much pleasure to be found in every moment. There's so much joy to be discovered in the little things in life. But sometimes a little bit of one splinter is all it takes to just have a bad day. And if that splinter has been in there for a very long time, memories do get passed down in the genetics. So, you know, sometimes the trauma is not even in this lifetime. Sometimes it's way back. And how do you know that unless somebody shines a light? And so that's where I really come in to just help you refine how you view yourself rather than make any drastic changes. So my process is a lot about refinement and reassigning the way that you choose to see yourself and carry yourself in the world. And I think that I covered all that I was asked to share within my introduction.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's great. One thing is, you didn't give us an event special. Do you want to add on an event special? If you want to, it's just an opportunity usually for someone to do like a session with you outside of the panel that might be a smaller price or a smaller size. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah. Okay. So my event special is, I'm actually, this is my first time announcing that I am doing a very in-depth chakra body clearing. So I look at the energy bodies of the mind, the energy bodies of the heart, and the energies of the spirit using a divination tool that I created 2 years ago. So I've been sitting with this tool. And so my special offering for anyone who has come to this today, and perhaps I can send a coupon code or something, or maybe we could do like MeWe, you know, inner child or something like that. But anyone who's here today can receive this new offering of mine for $11. You get a chakra clearing, you get 1 to 3 clarities of blockages where there might be blockages, and then some supportive guidance, all outlined in an email for you to take forward and integrate the clearing with.
That's great. So if you're able to create a code, give it to just me in the chat, because this is going to be up on YouTube, and so then everyone won't see it. Give it to me and I'll be able to publish it in the chat during the event. Great. All right. Great. All right. Let's see. And so I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader. I believe that everyone reads eyes all the time. If you think about when you meet someone with dark sunglasses and you can't see their eyes, so much is missing. And the moment that you see their eyes, there's so much there. So I'm an intuitive eye reader, and I apply it to lots of things, including matchmaking. I'm also a body psychology coach. So I'm reading your eyes and I'm reading your body. I'm reading all kinds of subtle things about your eyes and your body. And all this stuff most of the stuff is teachable. There's my intuition that I've turned on to be able to read people. So I'm looking to see who you are. I'm reflecting your soul. I use archetypes as a way of describing what I see and to describe your soul and your purpose. And then I answer questions on things like your career path. If you show me photos of other people in your life, I can talk about relationships, how to honor others, how to have the relationship work better. And I love to use it for matchmaking, as I mentioned. My particular favorite is conscious online dating. You can find a lot more about that work that I do at intuitiveeyereading.com or matchmakingsoulmates.com. And my aim is to help you better know your own body, better listen to yourself and where you feel energized and when you don't, and to learn basic feelings in your body so you can honor what your body, the messages your body is telling you. I believe that we're all part of spirit, and so I want you to get attuned to all the frequencies of being in this body and be able to live a thriving life and be of service. I was a scientist originally, so scientists worked in the intellectual property field and startups and So entrepreneurship and yeah, all kinds of other things before I found my way to these modalities and finally opened to my intuition. And finally someone helped me realize that I had opened to my intuition and found the intuitive community. And then all of these events emerged from me stepping into the community and offering my event space and then just taking steps as people had ideas. And so we now have, I run all the MeWe fairs events. We have in-person fairs in the Pacific Northwest with as many as 90, 100 booths now. And we have tons of different online events. We started running online fairs about a year before the pandemic, and we're going to have another online fair tomorrow. We still ran online fairs. We ran many more of them during the pandemic, and we now have all these panels and things online that we used to do in person. So we do all these different events and practice circles. We have a practice circle coming up on Sunday. I'll put a little information in the chat about all the different upcoming events in a moment. So yeah, so I do my own work with people and I teach classes. I have recorded classes and I run all these different events. So yeah, grateful to be able to be of service in this way and gather us all together. Yeah, so those are the basics about me. And I know we've all been talking for a little bit. Let's start talking about oh yeah, great. I copy all your information. This is great. So let's start talking about the theme. So the theme today is healing your inner child. So let's go ahead and Crystal, if you're comfortable with that, we can start with you again. We'll have everyone go around. So everyone just say a bit, 1 to 2 minutes, and then we can all pop in and say a bit more. Chances are we remind ourselves, as some of us say things, someone else like, it's great. All right. So yeah, so Crystal, I'm gonna make sure I unmute you and go ahead.
As I mentioned earlier when I was introducing myself, grew up in a pretty traumatic, toxic environment. So toxic environment, started out with CPTSD, I'm saying that right. Slightly ADHD, a little bit neurodivergent, and empathic, and an introvert. Also the oldest. So a lot of stuff hit me first before it would hit my brothers because, you're the oldest. So it's been a lifelong journey, and it still is, to continue to go inside and do the work, to find the parts of myself that got left behind in different trauma areas and go back, get her or them to come back to me, to do that level of healing work, to do consciousness work with my belief system, to pull false beliefs and remove them out of my consciousness. So then when you do that kind of work, then your perceptions shift because your beliefs have shifted. And so then your quality of life improves. Decompressing, deep diving, therapy off and on, different modes of therapy, and also studying different modalities, because that's where I first started to understand myself better, was looking at different modalities. And the one that initially that I found very helpful was studying astrology when I was a senior in high school. And then I just kept following that and following that and following that. And that gave me a lot of insight, not only into myself, but into karmic patterns, what the planets represented, what I set up this lifetime for myself, how the experience I was having could also be seen as what was happening in my natal chart as well. And then getting out on my own and starting to find kindred spirits, my tribe, and then continuing to also do the work, and get into a place where I have a lot more self-love, a lot more peace, a way less drama, and understanding what motivates me and what was making me tick, and how to unhook that so that I'm choosing from a place of consciousness instead of reacting. I'm choosing from a place of mindfulness, and from a place of compassion and generosity of spirit.
Yeah, thanks so much, Crystal, for sharing your experience and connection to healing your inner child. All right, Susy is next.
So I find that trauma and the showing of it, the allowing of it to come through has really come forward quite a bit, because when I grew up sounding all kinds of old geezer, it's just like nobody talked about this stuff. Nobody wanted to hear about whatever trauma you had. And trauma comes in a variety of ways. I experienced psychological trauma because, unlike Crystal, I was at the younger end of the family. And so I was being protected by so many things that kind of I needed to know, great big family loss and stuff like that. And trauma happens. And if you don't deal with it, then, in the moment, you can have an event happen and you can dissociate from it. And that's where the inner children go and hide and try to take care of themselves. And that's a means of survival. That's a method one uses. The best thing you can do is just not be there anymore, not be in your body. And it can happen at any moment, and it can happen at any degree. There is an amazing book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it talks about how trauma can be held in the body. It can also rewire your brain. And so, as I use a lot of clairs, and the clair sentience is feeling it in my body. I can frequently feel what's going on in a client's body with it, and to ask them what that is. And then we ask the questions: where did this come from? What does it do? And it's amazing to me to see the changes when you either release something from the body, or you can reclaim a bit of that inner child, whatever age it is at that moment. I have worked with folks where we were working with the youngest inner child first. And as I said earlier, as you heal, I heal. Same thing with yourself. As you're healing these inner children, they're healing you, and it goes back and forth. So when we work with, say, a 2-year-old lost inner self, bit of the self, that helps to heal the ensuing losses that you have, those ensuing dissociations. And it helps to make you recognize, to acclimate, to no, I don't like that word, to integrate more, to accept that what has happened and not let it be exclusively that part of your story, but it is a part of your story, and to be able to integrate it in a way that it's no longer holding you back. That's my goal when I help folks. And I think it can, yeah, Monica says it can be passed down from ancestral trauma too, and that's true. But as we're working with our inner children and bringing them in, then we can become more fully ourselves and more fully aware. And I find that there is a lot more joy to be had. Even when I'm talking to my inner child, that 13-year-old or the 16-year-old, she just wants, the 16-year-old just wants to go driving. It's like, okay, let's go driving, and we'll do that. You can still communicate with them, and that brings them in closer to your heart and helps you, Drasmin, I like your code, I am whole. It helps you to become more whole into yourself. And it's amazingly powerful work. And I think, I'm not going to say everybody needs it, but I think a lot of us can benefit from it. And yeah, I keep working on mine. And I love that we have this here so that we can help others recognize and reincorporate their inner children tonight. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Susie. All right, DoveLight, let's get you unmuted. Oh,
I'm unmuted. I unmute myself and then I got asked for it. Thank you, spirits. I would love to start by acknowledging that we all are different. We all have different life lessons. We all have different life experiences. No better or worse than anything. It's just what it is. Even though sometimes in our human perspective, we might feel that the grass is greener in the other side. But trust me, we all have our ups and downs. So if you have been blessed to have parents or caregivers that love you, that's good. That's beautiful. However, if you grow up with not having that support or that sense of belonging or anything else, it is very important, if it resonates with you, to understand that there is no such a thing as coincidence in this planet. You do have your human parents, but you also are a spirit, you are a soul. You crave for a creation force, a source that wanted you to be here. So if you are in the case, because they're telling me to say this, that you were born or grew up thinking that you were not loved by your parents, that you didn't belong, understand that you were meant to be here. Otherwise, you will not be here. So you have a divine parent, divine mother, divine oneness that wanted you to be here at this moment, at this time. Because even though it might look crazy, because the world sometimes look crazy, sometimes we don't understand all this chaos. There is also within this planet, within this wonder, that love, that beauty, that blessing as a gift. And you carry that because you are a child of the light, of the divine, whatever you believe. So you were meant to be here. You were meant to live your life. Now, how do you live your life? That's up to you through your free will, your choices, and your actions. Because many of us have been hurt as beautiful kids, and we didn't deserve to be hurt as beautiful kids. But growing up, it's a way to understand that now you're going to become your own parent. You're going to become your own loving person. You become the person that you didn't have growing up. You perhaps didn't have an example, but you do carry your light. And through reconnecting to your soul, to your light, to your love, whichever way might come in your life path, you are reconnecting with that part of you that you yearn for, that belonging, that compassion. One of the things that I notice, and I pass through this, and I've seen in the cases that I have worked with, that it is very hard to honor your own choices or give yourself permission, even to forgive. It's easier to do it on others because sometimes we still carry that inner child or that little child who feel it was their fault. And of course, in the human psychology, as growing up, you understand the child tend to, it's all about me, it's egocentric, especially as children. So what happened in a way, in the survival way for that kids to try to belong, is that they will blame themselves. They genuinely believe it's their fault. Worse, if you have an adult or a parent or somebody telling you it was your fault, it's all about you, it's because of you, that's even worse. But we're not meant to be perfect. We were meant to be learning. And if you see a little child, a beautiful child, or any child playing in the playground, playing at school, in TV, would you wish to that little child to have a horrible life, to be unhappy, to not have a successful marriage, a successful career? Would you wish to, if you see any, imagine a child that you genuinely love, any age, but a little child even, would you wish that kid to be unhappy? Generally, if you love it? No. So how can you not allow yourself to wish that for you? To understand that you also don't deserve to be unhappy, that you deserve to be healed, and you deserve your worthiness of your dreams. So part of the healing your inner child is allowing yourself permission to know that you are worth your dreams, that you are worth your desires, that you are worth your career, that you are worth your happiness, and you can have it. And if you will not wish a little kid for them to be unhappy, why will not wish that for yourself? So I can say that a lot of the healing work that I do with the inner child about me and others in my work has been about forgiveness. It's part, and you are not meant to force to forgive, because sometimes we're not ready to forgive, and that's okay. That's part of the healing process. For some of us, forgiveness come like, you know what, done, let it go. For other ones, it takes time. It takes a process. It's acknowledge the hurt. I was hurt. I didn't want to have a mother. I want a father who loved me. Why were you not there? Why didn't you defend it? Why you let this happen? This is energy that we sometimes hold inside our physical bodies and we get sick, or we hold in the energy field. And in order for us to move it, we have to feel it, because we have different bodies within our body. We have the spirit, we have the spiritual body, we have the mental, we have the emotional, we have the physical. All of them have different frequencies, and they understand and process things at different times. So So because we process things at different times, we sometimes can analytically logical, oh yes, so I was wounded as a child and this is what I do this, and this is why I keep attracting the same bad relationship. Okay, that's mental and that's honoring, but are you generally allowing yourself to feel that, to process that? And that happened a lot in my tarot card readings. People are telling me that, or they can tell me what I'm not supposed to do, but they keep doing it. Because now we have to work on the emotional and the spiritual part. You know, usually they're connected. Your soul lessons, contract, whatever is connected to your ancestral healing and even to your past life clearings. With that being said, I don't want to speak too much. I pass it to the next person. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, DoveLight. All right, Drasmin is next. Go ahead and share a couple minutes about healing your inner child.
Thank you. So before I share, I'm going to invite all of us to take a big deep breath in. So much information has come through. And if you have some water by you, perhaps taking a sip, dehydration is disassociation. When we are dehydrated, we get disconnected from the present moment, from the body. So we've been here for 45 minutes. So, okay. So in my share introduction, I alluded briefly to my specialty being complex trauma decluttering, and I experienced extensive abuse as a child, religious, sexual, cultistic abuse for over 10 years. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge what Kathy Pop said, that I have such fun energy, that really means a lot, that energy and frequency is felt, because it tells me that I have done so much deep inner work to bring that inner child home. Something that I want to share, two things I want to pull on. Hurt people hurt people. So sometimes the trauma that we experience within our family is because the person who is inflicting that trauma is hurt themselves, and they haven't been given a container, or they might not even know how, or even realize that they have trauma. And I experienced this personally with my father, who was very much a Jekyll and Hyde, on the forefront, a Christian missionary, pastor, builder of churches, trainer of teachers and elders. But behind the closed doors, he would just rage and take it out on me, mostly me, once I got old enough. And it created a fraction, a disassociation, like DoveLight was saying, we tend to start disassociating. And then the second part I want to share about this is the forgiveness. And the biggest thing about forgiveness that I want to say is the forgiveness of self-denial. That's the one that I found to be the ticket that finally helped me break through. Forgiving myself for not acknowledging that I was hurt, that I was angry, constantly projecting, oh, my dad did this, oh, my mom did this, oh, my teacher did this. It's so much easier to project blame, that there's an absence of recognition sometimes of, oh, I didn't hear myself. Right? For whatever reason that might be, because you weren't given the understanding or the training or the tools or the guidance. And I really resonated with what Crystal was saying as well, of being on the spectrum. I didn't figure that out until I was in my 30s, of wow, I've kind of just had to figure it out. And especially as female bodied, there's not enough research. There's not enough information on how neurodivergence and autism affects the female body, which is very different than a masculine body. And all the science and study out there is all primarily male gender oriented. So there's so much to uncover within that inner child healing process. But this first and most important step is to acknowledge that you have an inner child, that inner child is needed. It is essential to joy and peace in the present moment. Maturation is both the death of innocence and the reclamation of innocence. And what do I mean by the death of innocence? It means more than finding out that Santa isn't real. I mean, he might be, who knows? I have never seen him, I still believe. But it's more about realizing that you don't always get ice cream before bedtime. That's the death of that innocence. You don't always get what you want. You don't always, do what you please. That is the death of innocence. You realize that there needs to be structure and order. But sometimes that initiation, that rite of passage from child to teenager and then to adult, is not given the love and the space, especially if especially if you are on the spectrum, if you're different, or if you are mirroring the same challenges as the people who are there to protect and support you. You know, there's a dynamic, there's a replay. There's been a couple of mentions of ancestral trauma playing out. Well, yes, it's passed down in the blood, but it's also perpetuated in the home, in the way we communicate with ourselves, with our children, with our environment, you know. And so the first step is really acknowledging that there is that inner child, and then starting to listen and having conversations and just being the mother and being the father and being the brother and being the friend for that, no matter how silly it is. In fact, you know, 2 days ago, I was just having a heck of a day. And I asked my inner child, what do you want? And she wanted to crawl around on the grass and collect daisies one by one, counting them down all the way, 88 little daisies in a bowl. And then she felt better. And then I took a nap, and, you know, now the adult can come and take care of life things. So it's really about just rebuilding that trust with yourself, of where you have self-rejected. You know, there's 5 stages of grief. There's denial. There is, you know, there's bargaining, there is anger, there is sadness, and then there's finally acceptance. And in that process of reclaiming and reconnecting with that inner child, you know, recognizing that there has been denial of self to that innocence, that there needs to be an end to the bargaining. You know, whatever happened is not okay. And whatever somebody experienced that then caused them to react in the way, you know, taking on that responsibility and giving that back. Children tend to internalize. We are all as a child, that in my experience, children are very empathic. They're very absorbent. They're very much sponges, right? And so reclaiming that innocence is about forgiving self for not allowing self to be voiced, and then starting to have those slow, gentle conversations of, okay, what do you need today, little love? And finding and listening to when you start getting snappy with yourself, like, I have to go do laundry. You don't have time to play outside. Is that really your voice? You know, so really gentle acknowledging, giving voice, and listening is the way to start reconnecting with that inner child, so that you can really be inspired in everyday life.
Great, thank you. Whoops,
Yeah.
I think I muted you, and it looks like Crystal's got something to share.
Ooh.
Following along on what Drasmin was just saying is, one thing I've discovered for myself is, where did I abandon myself? It's the things that I got taught in the toxicity I grew up in, the violence, emotional violence, mental violence, physical violence, spiritual violence. There was no one to show me the safe way to walk that path. And what we all did our survival the best we could. And as I got older, I kept realizing finally, as I began to get more in touch with this stuff and allow myself to start exploring it, is where do I abandon myself? Just like those people around me did. And how do I unhook that so that I start choosing to take care of myself and acknowledge my needs, and that it's okay to have needs. It's okay to want stuff. It's okay to take care of myself. It's okay to make me first. And I don't mean first, like, you know, I have to be the first one in the room or the first one in line for food and all that kind of stuff. No, that I place my self-worth and my care first. And it makes me think of the line that says, "Thou shalt have no other God before me." And I interpret that to mean that the divinity within me has to be first. There can't be anything else before that. I have to honor who I am and what my needs are. And I don't have to explain that or justify that to anybody, because it's nobody else's responsibility to take care of those things. It's me. I become the ultimate parent and the person who looks out for me. And that's, I think, another layer of this work as we go through it, is to get to that place where we start making positive choices for ourselves. So thanks for letting me share that.
Great, great. And Drasmin, is there anything else you wanted to say? Okay, great. Great. It's appreciate hearing all you share. So I started taking some notes. Oh, yeah, I come from lots of trauma too. Like lots of us come from trauma as a way of opening our sensitivity. We have to do it in order to survive. So those of us that did survive, we might be like tough and hardened off, something that we have to open and soften. And I did some of that. And I also was very soft in some ways, empathic in some ways, sensitive to all kinds of subtle signals, which is part of what I do in my readings now. It's the sensitivity to so many subtle signals. So part of my healing journey and what I think is helpful for everyone, or maybe some of the basic steps for everyone, it's in alignment, I think, with what a lot of others have shared. Chances are we came from and I'll say there's, big T trauma and little T trauma, and whatever our trauma is, it's our trauma. And so in our experience, it's big, regardless of how it is relative to a kind of a continuum we might look at. So I think one of the first things is to find some safety in our body, find some safety in how we are right now, right? That might be just looking around and realizing how things are around us. And in this very moment, am I safe? Right? And if you're not safe, get to a place where you're safe. Right? So discovering safety. And safety is, to me, part of what opens up so that we can have so much other experience. So feeling our feelings, and chances are, if you don't feel safe, you feel scared. And for feeling scared, one way is we lock everything down. I use a model of 5 fears: freeze, fight, flee, faint, and fawn. And I have ways to shift our bodies, to shift out of those ways of fear. And if we feel scared of any of the other feelings, like it wasn't safe in my family even to feel joy, right? A lot of families, if you feel a lot of joy, then some bad thing happens, right? Or someone else takes over all the feelings of joy. So there are all kinds of ways that we weren't allowed to feel our feelings. I use a model of 5 kinds of feelings. I say mad or anger, sadness, scared, fear, joy, happy, and then sexual or aliveness. How can we feel all 5 feelings? And usually if we feel scared of them, we freeze and we block and or fight inwards and we shut all that down. So learning that we are in fear, discovering that we're in fear, and learning how to shift out of the fear. And again, am I safe now, right? Looking around in whatever way, am I safe right now? And yes, this will get posted on YouTube. Sorry, your Zoom is freezing. When I did, and I believe when all kinds of people do, when we unblock our fear, and it might be we unblock it for a moment, and then a few more moments, and then a minute. When we unblock that, lots of other feelings have space, and so lots of other feelings flow, and we've got all kinds of stuff to be with around that. Learning to feel all these feelings. And so just as DoveLight was talking about forgiveness, and then DoveLight moved into talking about what I call anger and feeling healthy anger. To me, feeling healthy anger is before forgiveness, and DoveLight totally talked about all these things too, not with that word. So to me, anger is yes and no. It's healthy boundaries. It's being able to recognize what happened to me wasn't okay. I didn't want that. I didn't deserve that. I'm worthy of more. And the parent that didn't protect us, to feel anger towards them too, not necessarily to express it to them. They might not still be alive. It might not be safe. Yeah, healthy rage, right? No, it was not okay. Yes, I deserve something else, right? So being a stand for ourselves and feeling healthy anger for ourselves. That's part of self-love. So the anger of yes. And then all these are steps of parenting our inner child, and there are all kinds of other steps for parenting our inner child. So yeah, some of you have seen this before, right? So this is, oh goodness. This is Ursula. I have Lila at my other desk too. So I think it's great to get a little snuggly, right? And cuddle them when we're playing with all this stuff. Our parents did the best they could, and a lot of it was lousy. Some of it was really bad, right? Our other caregivers. And it's our opportunity to do this now for ourselves. And so as we're feeling our feelings, feeling angry, knowing we deserve more, shifting out of fear and waves, all this stuff comes up again. Coming to love ourselves. And I love what everyone is sharing about loving ourselves for doing our best, even though there's all kinds of ways we weren't able to stop things. I mean, I've been thinking the last few days about with one of the trial that's happening, I forget her name, but who accused Trump of raping her. You know, and the attorney for Trump is asking, why did she not scream in the dressing room? Right? I totally was abused too. Why did I not scream? I didn't know to do that. I didn't know it was okay to say no. Right? And if I'm frozen and stuck and blocked, right? All kinds of things we don't do. I didn't do. So I have to love myself, even though I did knowing that I did the best I could, even though I didn't do X, Y, Z, that I can see now, that I might be able to do now. Right? So forgiving ourselves is totally a step towards allowing forgiveness of all kinds of flow towards us and for others in the world. Yeah, so it's getting present to ourselves. It's a great big step. Yeah, E. Jean Carroll. Yeah, thank you for giving me her name. Yeah. Oh, right. And feeling connection with others that have experienced so much trauma. And again, big T, little t, whatever our trauma was, it was really big for us. And all these steps to me are all relevant. All right, Drasmin's got something else to share. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for all that, Laureli. I want to address Miss Thornton. You know, she posted a comment a little earlier ago that it doesn't come easy. And you were talking about feeling the feelings. And sometimes, you know, when like you said, the trauma is trauma. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. It's subjective. Okay. A paper cut being dismissed could be as traumatizing to a child as being violated by their father for 10 years. It doesn't matter. It's not about comparing trauma stories. It's about just acknowledging that something happened that violated boundaries. So feeling the feelings can just be a difficult experience. Like it's just locked. You know, there's a lot of talk about feel your feelings, but if the feeling of safety hasn't been created within the body, the feelings aren't going to come. And so when Miss Thornton made that comment of, you know, it's very difficult for me. Tomorrow, I'm doing 2 speaking talks on, one is consent and one is how to, you know, make your feelings your friends. And I just want to share, you know, a little practice to start creating that. Yes, how do I feel safe in my body? So this is what you do when you wake up, before you get dressed, ask yourself, and this might be a little funny and silly, right? But this is how we heal. We heal with a little bit of silliness and a little bit of play. You know, there's so much seriousness, which is good to acknowledge and hold space for, but we also need to bring a little silliness in there. And the question that I invite you to ask yourself when you wake up every day is, do I want to wear these undies? You know, it starts there, because if you're wearing undies that don't make you feel good, if you have a bad crotch day, you're going to have a bad day, period. It's just the truth. And I have found that to be a really effective way to just break the ice of, oh, okay, I don't feel good in my body because my undies are literally riding up my butt, or they're like falling off, or they're like threading. So starting with that, connecting with the body of like, what's directly touching you? Do I like this shirt? Do I like these pants? That's how you start creating that safety for yourself. And then you take it outward. Do I even like coffee, or do I prefer tea? And I haven't been drinking tea because I've been teased about it my whole life, you know? That's how you start creating the safety. And then the feelings will naturally come up and be released, because then the body feels like, oh, you're listening to me. You're listening when I tell you I don't like these underwear. You're listening when I tell you I don't want sugar in my coffee. You're listening when I don't want, you know, the salsa on my tacos. I want it on the side. You know, it starts with these little things that we just dismiss because we're just going through life and we get so caught up in the big picture. But it's really those small little things that then allow the feelings to come up. And fear is just courage making itself known. So how amazing is the gift of fear?
Great, thank you. Let's see. And then we've got Crystal and Susie in line with some comments. So let's yeah, go ahead, Crystal.
Thank you. Excellent. Follow up on that. That was great. I love how much we're all sharing and weaving all these things together. So one of the things is we have these bodies and they come with feelings. And if you grow up in a trauma environment, no one ever teaches you how to have your feelings. Usually we shut everything down because it's so overwhelming to feel anything, and all we're trying to do is survive. If we had parents that were healthy, they would help us self-regulate and allow us to experience our emotions and find out that, oh, that will pass. That will pass. I feel angry right now. Okay. I'm mad about this. Okay. Yeah, we'll walk through that. What are you mad about? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. And then you get on the other side of it. But if you never get taught that, then emotions at first can seem like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? Will I ever stop crying? Will I ever stop feeling so horrible? And it makes it really a little scary to want to go in and sit with those feelings because we're afraid that they might not stop. They will. If you think about, like, if you dammed a river and the dam is way high and the river is way down here, when you first take that dam off, that's a lot of water coming through. You could use that same analogy for your emotions. Once you start tapping it and you allow that flow to begin, it will come down to the place where it was originally. You will come back to that flow that you used to have, and it will be contained and it will serve and it will do what we need for it to do. Emotions are feedback, and it's important to be aware of what they're trying to tell us. And I can get into a lot more different layers about that, because sometimes the mind will do something to trip an emotion on purpose because of dysfunction. But anyways, just allowing ourselves to have our emotions, allowing ourselves to cry at a sad movie, allowing ourselves to be excited. Well, this is me. When I saw this little tiny baby praying mantis that was this big, I thought it was so freaking cute. I got out a big squee, and this person that was standing next to me looked at me like, what is going on with you? I said, this praying mantis is so freaking adorable. Look at it. And they're like, uh-huh. So not to be embarrassed by what makes you feel joy, not to be embarrassed about being sad, not to be embarrassed about being afraid. None of that. We don't need to judge ourselves. Emotions are simply feedback. How we choose to deal with them is what we need to learn. How to self-regulate, how to have them, and not get tidal waved into being reactive instead of being responsive. Thanks.
All right, Susie's next. Get her unmuted, and then DoveLight.
There we go. Cool, 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 cool. Let me get my hand down now. So Drasmin was talking about, I want my cells on the side. I want to do this. And the way I interpret that as reclaiming my power over something, because you're establishing this condition, this parameter to be met, and you are reclaiming your power. Now, there was earlier on conversations about forgiveness. And that's how I define forgiveness. It's not, that's okay, honey, I'll just buy a new car. It's okay, you go ahead and crash out. It's not that. It is reclaiming your energy from that other person and then returning that bit of energy they left in you back to them. And I frequently see this as me being up on this place where, I feel empowered, where I'm either dressed the way I want to be, or I'm in an environment that I feel very comfortable and safe in this mind palace of mine. And I have the situation, the person, the whatever it is in front of me. And I said, look, this is that bit of you that you left with me. You can have it back and give me back my bit that you have taken from me. And that's me reclaiming my power. I don't have to go and beg somebody for forgiveness or to see me or to do whatever it is some versions of forgiveness would have you do. I find it's really helpful for me, like in my traumas, to reclaim that power. I'll talk to my dad and said, you kind of didn't do that right, at least not by me. And we've talked about it. And of course, that's all happened since he's crossed over. But you do it when you can, and you do it with whenever you can. So for me, that's what forgiveness looks like. It's me feeling more of myself and reintegrating those other parts. Thanks.
Yeah, there's great stuff coming in the chat. And like Drasmin just said, yeah, another affirmation. Yeah, it's safe to be me. Yeah, one of mine was, I'm radiantly sexual and absolutely safe. So the phrase, I'm absolutely safe, right? Like affirmations. All right, DoveLight's got something. Go ahead, DoveLight.
Okay, I unmute myself again. I want to honor what Susy was saying, because it was coming up very strongly to me as well, that forgiving, it's always about you. It's about your relationship with what you felt at that given situation. And it is not about accepting that the other person is right, or no, I'm not gonna forgive them because they don't deserve to be forgiven. They might not even care. They might live in their life. They might moving on. But the energetic notch, the spark, I see it like a dark spark. It's hurting you. So forgiveness is always all about you. It's how, because what happened, it's not gonna change. It's done. It happened. You cannot pretend it didn't happen. So we have to accept that something happened, but you don't have to still get attached to the emotional charge in a way that's not healthy for you. You don't have, and there is a saying, I don't know who say it, but I always remember that it's like, when you don't forgive a situation or something, it's about giving poison to yourself. It's about giving poison to yourself for something somebody else did. It's about beating yourself up for something that somebody else or a situation did. And even though it must be hard to understand, but it is true. It is true, because at the end of the day, you get to live with yourself. You get to hear your thoughts. Your thoughts get to affect yourself. Yourself get to affect your health, your actions. So we are not saying I'm denying how I feel. I'm not denying the responsibility of the other person for what they did to me when it was wrong. And I'm not denying my responsibility at this moment for allowing it. You have, but forgiveness bring that relief, that peace to yourself, to your energy field, even to the situation, that you stop punishing yourself for what somebody else did, or start punishing yourself because you didn't do it the way that you think in your head was supposed to go. Because at the end of the day, things are meant to be that way, the way they're meant to be. Otherwise, they would have been done different. And forgiveness, like I said, and healing the inner child, when you get, at least in my case, about safety, what have worked for me, and it might be different for somebody else, but it's reconnecting to your breath, which is reconnecting to your trust. If you just observe the natural world, there is, who is making yourself breathe? Are you telling your lungs to breathe? Are you telling your heart to pump? They're making it automatically, because there is a higher intelligence, a spiritual intelligence going through you. When you put a seed in the garden and you put water, what is the intelligence that's going to make that seed become a flower, a plant, and a tree? Who is moving the sun and going around, the light going around the earth? Who is putting in organization the galaxy, the planets? It's beyond our wildest comprehension that there is an intelligence working behind it for itself and for all of us, because we're all part of one. So how can we not trust that the next morning when we wake up, our eyes are still there, our ears are still there? We don't have to tell our lungs to breathe. It's gift, it's a given. So it's reconnecting to that trust that there is a higher intelligence, there is a higher power that wants you to be well, that wants you to succeed, that wants you to be healed, if that's the healing that you need at this moment. And in order for me to connect, one of the ways that has worked for me to trust is to connect to my breath, because breath in my indigenous tradition and many indigenous around the world is the breath of life. It's how the great spirit, the source, whatever you want to call it, is living life through you. And if you realize something when you are stressed, when you're passing through something traumatic, and when you are, I don't know what to do, we block our breath. We stop breathing. We literally stop breathing. We do it. And so to me, reconnecting in a form of trust that it's in my physical, my mental, emotional, spiritual, is going back to being aware of my own breath and understanding that I don't have to tell my heart or my lungs to pump or to function. There is a higher intelligence that is doing it for me out of love, because it loves me. It's doing it, and I have to trust that love. And when you connect with that from your heart, from your soul, when you can be aware or reconnect that you are actually loved beyond your wildest dream, it's a beautiful feeling. I can't even describe it with words, but I pray that if it's for your highest good to resonate, you find a way that resonate with you so you can connect with that. And it might seem impossible, it might sound weird when you wait a minute, if there is a higher throes of love that's going on there. Why did I get hurt? Why there is so much chaos in the world? Why this? Why that? Why I'm not the way that I wish to be? It is because part of the gift is non-discriminatory. And even though it is true that there are things that are not our fault and we didn't meant for us to happen, we also have to understand that we have the gift of creation through our thoughts and our emotions and our actions and choices. And those choices have consequences. And if there is a bigger source of love, if you will, it will allow you to live your experience. But you are always welcome to ask for help. You can always ask for help, even if you're not used to it. And many of us, as children that have been wounded as child, we have learned how to be very independent. Like not even it's for some of us, it's scared to ask for help. For some of us, we don't need nobody's help. I'm okay, I'm safe on my own. But there is a balance in there that needs to be aware with. None of us, it's an island. We don't only have one organ. We have systems within us and universe within us, physical and non-physical. So part of healing that part of ourselves is learning or allowing ourselves how to ask for help when it is in a time that we need to ask for help. We generally cannot do this alone. And that's again your power. Okay, I don't want to do too much. Okay, I'm done.
Great, we all have so much. I want to share a little something briefly before, and then Crystal has more to share. Some people are asking in the chat about trust and about forgiveness. So one can forgive someone and never talk to them again and never be around them again. Forgiveness doesn't have to imply anything. It doesn't imply anything about physical world interaction. It does not imply anything about energetic interaction. It's your energy that you're working with, not the other person. And you can do it with people that have passed. You can do it with people that are here. You can do it with people you never see that are here, that might be here and you don't even know, right? It can be with the vague not knowing that you have a sense of in your body, that you don't know explicitly what it is. For so much of us that have trauma, our brains shut down as a way to protect us. And so we don't remember these things. However, it's stored in the body in various ways. Lots of us know about that. Anything you sense might have been any challenges, problems, trauma, anything that was uncomfortable. The big journey is to trust yourself that something happened, even though you don't know what, and to allow yourself to go through this healing process around that. And for me, that's been a big, big thing, is trusting my sense of it, even though I don't know. All right, so we've got Crystal's got something, and Drasmin's got more too. Oh, and there's a request. Oh yeah, you can have your soul talk to their soul. Just different comments from people in the chat too. Yeah, this is great. All right, go ahead, Crystal.
So when we get born and we get here, we're maybe half baked on a good day. I mean, we still have, so much more to develop: our nervous system, our cognitive abilities, all that stuff. Little kids come in totally clean, if you will. They're looking to their caretakers to say, okay, you're the person who's here. You know what everything's about. You're supposed to show me the ropes so that I can be successful and not get eaten by the tiger. If you have caretakers that have never done their work, they don't know how to show you any of that. And they tend to blame you for all their problems. You're little, you don't have any life adult experience. You can't say, oh, that's a bunch of crap. That's not true. You still believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. I mean, you're going to believe them. They're almost like gods, these people. They take care of us. They make lights come on and off. They rule our worlds. So as your emotions and stuff come online and you're hearing one thing from them, but you're feeling another thing, you get this huge schism internally about what's going on. And then we start to doubt ourselves because we're getting gaslit essentially by the people around us because they're unhealthy and they can't give what they don't have. So as we get older and we get a more life experience and, we get on the other side of some more stuff and we get into our 20s and stuff and things finally have come online, relatively speaking. Then we're young adults and we're out in the world and we're trying to function off of this program that we got from all these people, our parents, our religious institutions, our educational institutions, depending on potentially the ethnicity that you were born into. There could be a lot of cultural stuff that you grew up with as well. So that's a lot to unravel. And when you start to do it, it's like, well, they're so big and I'm just so little me. How do I navigate that? How do I know what's real and not real? And that's the whole thing about beginning to trust yourself. And you start to build that baseline internally with yourself. And you start to trust your
Oh, something happened. Wait, we got you muted. Let's unmute you.
own. So that's a big challenge just there, just to begin to even recognize all that and to begin to pull those threads out and start to decompress and open that up. Forgiveness. That doesn't mean that you say, oh, that was okay that you did that, I forgive you. That's not what it's about. All that stuff that happened had nothing to do with you. Nothing. If you go through the grocery line and the clerk's having a bad day and they're being snappy with whoever's coming through the line, they don't know you from anything. So it can't possibly be about you. They're the one that's having the bad day. It feels personal in a family because you're in the family, but literally it has nothing to do with you. So forgiveness is, as it was mentioned, it's about forgiving yourself in a way that you allowed these things to happen because you didn't have any other choice. You had to roll with it so you could survive. You couldn't just grab your car keys and leave. You maybe could get on your trike if you were lucky, but that's it. You had to survive. So we have to forgive ourselves that we survived the best way we could. And maybe we got compromised in lots of ways that as adults, we would say, F off, that's not happening. But we couldn't do that when we were little. So forgiveness, before it starts anywhere, starts at home. Start with yourself, loving yourself. You survived. I go back and I thank all those little parts of me that got lost and got hurt so badly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You did it. Because you did it, we got here. And now because of you made those sacrifices and everything that you did, we are here now. And I'm going to take care of you now. I'm the mom, dad. You're my little ones. And I am so grateful to have you. And reassure them that, yes, when I say we're going to go do this, I follow up on my word. I don't break trust with my little kids. If I promise them something, then it has to happen. If I go someplace and they start to feel unsafe, then I stop and I check in and I say, okay, you're not feeling safe right now. What do we need to do for you? Maybe these people around us right now aren't very safe people. We need to leave. We don't have to make a big scene about it, but we can leave. So you have to become the project first. That's the whole back to the whole thing first. Is like you have to fill your cup first. You have to put the oxygen mask on first when it drops down. And we get so much programming that's selfish. You should be taking care of everybody else. You shouldn't give to yourself. And I just say that's a load of compost. And you have to start with self. And if you have trouble with forgiveness, then don't forgive. You can release. Release is another word instead. Don't say, I forgive so-and-so for what they did. I release so-and-so and all that energy they gave me. I'm releasing that energy. You don't have to necessarily have forgiveness. You can just let it go to be whatever it is, and you take care of yourself. Thanks.
Great. I know Drasmin's got more. I want to say just a few things based on some of the things that are happening in chat. So one is, this is another place to forgive yourself right now for all of you out there. If some things aren't making sense, if you feel confused, it's okay. Trust that your system is taking in as much as it's good for you to take in right now. We do have a recording. You can go back and just trust that your whole being is taking care of yourself, that it's okay. And if some of it gets confusing and you get fuzzy and you're dissociating here, trust that even if you don't know that you have any trauma, maybe we're touching something in you and maybe there's something there. Be gentle with yourself now. Someone asked, I think, is it healing to share? By telling someone your story to a trusted circle to be witnessed, does that help in the healing process? Yes, it does. being spaciously listened to, having people believe you. Right?
Mhm.
Someone listening with the spaciousness and trust of course, everything that you say is your experience is very healing. So being here with all of us, talking about all this, being in the field of so many other people, we've got 59 of us here, where we all essentially resonate with all that we're sharing, that you're writing in the chat. This is healing. So you're healing by being here with all of us. Yeah, oh, great. Yeah, someone asked if they could put in some support groups. So Sophia just put in a whole group of support groups in the chat. Yeah. All right. And I'll put the practitioner's information all in the chat again, too. All right, great. Drasmin's got some more. Go ahead.
Muted.
Sorry, we muted you. Let me get you unmuted. We're trying to mute each other in between so the background noise goes away. And by the way, one thing I didn't share as part of my journey of learning to my gifts, I studied with a number of somatic psychotherapists and used this to heal myself and learned all kinds of tools to heal others. So yeah, healing ourselves. Drasmin.
So I wanna just step back a little bit from the emotions for a moment and talk about the body and give us all a little bit of science. This information might be known and this might not be known. So when you're looking at the biology of the body and of the emotions and of the heart, they have recently discovered in the last 5 years that there is a signature for emotion. So if anyone has ever, seen the EKG, the high peak and the little squiggle, the high peak and the little squiggle, that's the measure of the energetic signature that your heart is pumping out. Now, the high peak is your health, like your physical health. That's how the doctor knows where your heart health is at and the rest of your body. But that little signature in the middle is actually a signature for emotion. That's the same across all beings. So anger has a very specific signature. Pain has a very specific signature. Jealousy has a very specific signature. So we feel this energy and we pick up this frequency within ourselves, within our environment. And then this little signal goes to the brain. And the brain translates that. And this is where that disconnect starts to happen, because if you feel joy, for example, you're really excited because you just made a macaroni art project and you take it to your parent and you're just so joyful and excited. And then you take it to your parent and they're like, oh, whatever, it's nice. And they just go back to watching their game. Like something as simple as dismissal could create oh, it's not safe to feel joy. And the brain will translate it as it's not safe. Then you go and become an adult, and now you're an adult where your brain is translating emotion inaccurately because that's all it knows. And so that's why it's really important to tap into the heart space and to really, start feeling that, which, comes from feeling safe, because then we can really start feeling, oh, I feel joyful. And the story and the experience and everything that everyone has ever shared with me has created the story that it's not safe to feel joy, or that I'm not feeling joy, or that I should be feeling shame for feeling this joy, So that's a big part of the biology I wanted to share, because it's not just about the energy. It's literally our body's response, the trauma response in our body, what we have been literally programmed and conditioned, whether it was intentionally malicious or not is not the point. It's about that we have developed a translator, because that's really the brain is. The brain is a translator. It's a processor. You give it information and it gives you information. And that information shows up in the body as then symptoms. We feel something and goes to the brain processes it, it sends signals, and all of a sudden you're feeling anxious when what you really feel is excited. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. Second thing I wanted to share is, Crystal talked about problems, and I love playing with words. So another acronym I want to share with you is problems. Problems are perceiving that running or blaming leaves everything magically solved. That's a problem. Now, there are some true problems in the world, but ultimately, when there's a problem, look at, where am I running from this? Where am I blaming something outside of myself? Where am I choosing to not be empowered because I don't like this answer, right? And the last thing I will say is, children come into this world pure. innocent, high frequency. Everybody loves babies. Well, most people. There are some people who actually don't like babies. I've met them. I stay away from them. They scare me. But as a general, children come into this world vibrating very high. They are high frequency. So recognize that your innate nature is a high frequency divine being. And everything else is just all of the life stuff, everybody's opinions, everybody's thoughts, everybody's well-meaning intentions, everybody's baggage. It is just piled up on you. And that's what the healing journey is about. That's what the reclamation is about. It's not about raising your frequency. It's about removing all of this layers and all of this stuff that isn't yours so that you can come back to that purity and that innocence. And that is why the inner child healing work is the first step and such an important process in claiming your sovereignty, because you are literally returning to that state of innocence before everybody else came in with their opinions.
Thanks so much. Yeah, and I was thinking of other just simple way, and maybe let me just refer back to, if anyone wants to ask a question of the panel, a specific question, like a personal question you would ask us in private. If you're willing to do it in public, you'll get answers probably from all of us. That's why we offer this at such a low price. It is 20 to 28 sliding scale, or $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. If you have a question you want to ask the panel, please go ahead and do that. We ask that you pay first and let me know you paid, and we'll get you up here and I'll say a few things before we answer. We'd love to do that. So meanwhile, I'm thinking about, people are talking about what are some basic ways of starting to feel a little bit of safety. So really anything that you can physically notice in your body, if you can feel your hands touching each other, right? You can touch your arm and feel touching your arm, right? If you can hug yourself and feel hugging yourself. If you can breathe, whether you're breathing in your chest and feel your chest expand, or put your hands on your belly, which is even better, and breathe into your belly and feel your hands expand. Really, even if you can eat food and enjoy the flavor of food, you're feeling a little bit of safety in order for that to be able to happen for any of these things. So acknowledging for yourself that you're feeling some safety, even if it's just that much safety or that much safety. Getting started, finding a little window and expanding from there. That's how you do it, bit at a time. Yeah, go ahead, Susy, if you want to jump in and say some more.
Okay, yeah, a lot of the things, excuse me, a lot of the things you were talking about, Laureli, are very grounding. So feeling yourself in your body, because that's going to be the first place to feel safe. I use imagery when I want to ground, and it is, a lot of folks will say, send your energy into Mother Earth. And there are just times I just don't have the wherewithal to do it. It's the energy that I need. So I call earth energy up through my feet and through my legs and in the body. And I'm at a point now, and as you do it more frequently, you can practice to feel where you're feeling, blockages or something, just like a blip of like, oh, this is requiring attention. And then breathing is integral to this also. So say I'm feeling something, oh yeah, okay, in my right knee, I can breathe into it and bring attention to it and allow it to relax and allow it to ground. And earth energy comes all the way up into my hips and into my heart and out the top of my head. And then I connect with source by calling it in. For me, it's above, but I call in source to flow down through my crown chakra and through my body. And it's that grounding, which, it's eating, putting your feet in the grass. I'm also saying that just hugging yourself can be very grounding and to help you feel safe, and to say things to yourself like, I love you just because you're the one you need to be safe with first. Because when you develop that internal strength, that internal fortitude, if you will, you are better able, you've got a better, they're showing me like having this stance, a very solid stance, so that you can look at these other energies coming at you and can say, yeah, okay, I'm okay to take on that, to interact with that energy, or no, you can take a flying leap and that sort of thing. But being strong in yourself is important. And it may feel like a really hard and daunting task when you're doing this. Give yourself grace. Be patient with yourself. You've spent all of this time in a traumatic mindset. It's going to take you time to work your way through it. I would love to say that, oh, bing, here are the words we have. All of us are said all the things to help you be all right now. It's going to take practice. But then that's a way for you to build that trust in yourself. To trust, you can also say belief. Trust what you get, believe what you get, believe in yourself that you can do it. And yeah, it's going to be breaking down a lot and building up even more. That's why we do this sort of stuff online, to provide this sort of support so that we can not only share our own experiences, but to help you express your own and find an environment, a group of people with whom you can share. So breathe. That's always a great start. And then take it from there. Thanks.
All right, great. It looks like, oh yeah, DoveLight, go ahead. And then I think we've got 2 people in line, so we might have Joanne and Mandy in line. Oh, let's get you unmuted.
Oh, we can go to the questions if that's
Well,
okay.
Go ahead. If what you want to share is not too long, go ahead. You're
I just want to honor that one of the ways that to feel safe again is to create, remember, get used to it, because we usually not used to it, to creating a cheerleader in our own mind. If most of the things that we lived through were programmed by adults who didn't know any better, and program all these thoughts, all these messages, all this belief on us, they projected. One of the ways to loving yourself enough to allow yourself to change the different course of your energy in your life is to create a cheerleader in your mind. And sometimes we're not used to tell them good job, or thank you because you did this. Oh, great, you're taking time to rest. Oh, amazing. We're not used to it. It feels weird. It feels out of comfort, but it's very important to understand that your soul, in a spiritual sense, is an extension. Your voice is an extension of your soul, and yourself knows your soul to your voice. So when your body hears your own voice, is healing an intimacy and a connection that it cannot be heard through something else. So it's very important to hear from your own voice and in your own thoughts how wonderful you are, how grateful you are, how beautiful you are, how amazing you are. Even if something went wrong and it might be your responsibility, say, okay, you did the best. So we start little by little bit, because at the beginning it's gonna feel weird. We're not used to it. We might not even believe ourselves, but as we build that, we're creating a force in our energy field, in our conscious and subconscious, that's willing to back us up, to support us, and it comes from us. So it's very meaningful when something comes from us, when somebody, because it's us. So I just wanted to honor that.
Thanks so much, DoveLight. All right, a few things before we start answering questions, and I think we've got 2 people in line, Joanne and Mandy. So let's see, one thing is that this is a great opportunity for everyone to practice opening their intuition, practice their healing skills. You might want to get something to write with and write on. So you might want to draw, scribble, take notes of whatever shows up for you, whatever's coming through you. You might get lots of insight into yourself as well. Like that might have been happening this whole time. But particularly in terms of opening to your intuition, as you discover how we answer someone's question, you might realize that you're tapping into the same source, get confirmation as we're saying same things that have come through you. So it's just a great way to practice for all of us opening together and opening our capacities and skills together and learning to listen. We have to feel safe enough for the messages to come through. So building our safety in all these ways is increasing our capacity to intuit as well. If something does come through you, we request that you keep it yourself until we've finished answering that person's question. And then if you want to, you're welcome to private chat them and ask if they'd like to hear what came through you that might be for them. Please honor whatever they share. They might feel full after getting answers from a group of us. Trust that it came through you for another reason. This is a great opportunity to learn from all that's asked and all that's answered, whether or not you're asking a question. And please, in any format, and particularly here where it's in public and it's recorded, when you ask a question, if we go deeper than you want us to go in the way we answer, or we talk about topics that you don't want us sharing about here, please let us know. Feel free to interrupt us, give us guidance. We want to honor you in our response. Chances are you'll hear from all of us. If you do have a preference of someone you want to have start answering your question, like Mandy mentioned in the chat, maybe Drasmin, it's fine to do that. Just know chances are we might all have something to say. All right, so Joanne, did you want to come up? I'm gonna put you up in the front. Okay, great. Oh yeah, let me ask you to unmute too. Is that what you wanted to ask us a question?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, to all of you for the beautiful insight and education. I find myself really emotional right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm so disconnected from the human race, you know. I grew up in an alcoholic family. There was some inappropriateness. I don't recall anything exactly. I just know there's inappropriate and to how far it went. I can't, which led me to a lot of years of drug and alcohol abuse, of which I'm in recovery now for over 6.5 years. During that time, 35 years ago, I was put on an antidepressant, which I believed blocked and numbed me for off of that. And it's really changing my ability to interact and feel and stuff. If there was anybody that had any validating comments around any of that I just said.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all.
Well, so antidepressants are this interesting mixture, right? If we're really depressed, it helps us get out from being depressed. And like ADD meds, people have the experience that it shuts them down too. So numbing also. So it can be helpful and it also can be hurtful. And like usually antidepressants alone are not great by themselves. I said, like having therapy and working with a somatic practitioner, someone that can help you get into your body. So I don't know if you were able to do that too. A lot of doctors just prescribe the antidepressants and they don't prescribe.
On and off my entire adult life, I've been in therapy. So, you know, I'm sure some of that, you know, assimilated into my being. And there's some areas of my life which I think I'm really great at, but what I'm not really great at is feeling the feelings, interacting with people. I'm always giving pieces of myself away. Still to this day at 66 years old is pretty discouraging.
I want to encourage you as you say that, and practitioners, I know I'm jumping in and giving a little bit of a response here. I encourage you to say that in past tense because you don't know what's happening in the moment. You don't know what's happening in the future. I used to give away parts of myself.
I used to give it away. I used to give away big pieces of myself in relationship. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I have not really had one in my whole life. I just can't function in them.
Yeah, and if people haven't, and actually I can unmute everybody too, so if you all want to do just a little bit of jumping in. If people were not safe when we were little, then people haven't been safe. People aren't safe. And so we don't go into that as adults so easily either. And you said it earlier on, you said that you, like you don't really, at first it sounded very mild. You said like you don't really know. Yeah, you said you don't know exactly. And I want to encourage you again that it's when the trauma is so hard, that's when we shut down and we don't remember. So if we don't remember much about childhood, if we sense there's something and we don't remember, that's a place to be particularly sensitive because chances are there's a lot that's there. Joanne, is there anything else that you wanted to say in terms of introducing your question? Because I know people are in line with things they want to share.
No, I think that covers it. I don't want to, I just want everybody that's suffering to be able to speak to. So I think I said enough.
Great, great. And I know
Thank
you were cutting out a little bit as you shared. We could hear you, but some was cutting out. Do you want to turn off your video so that you can hear us better? Or do you hear us okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay, great. Then maybe it's on my end or something. All right, let's see. So we've got so practitioners, I know we've got at least a second question, and we've got, let's see, I'm just trying to think timing. So we've actually only got 45 minutes. So let's keep us to like kind of 2.5 minutes for our answers. And then if you go long, I'll do this whole thing so you get an idea to close up soon. All right, I'll get on my timer. Okay, so we have Drasmin, Crystal, DoveLight, and then Susy. So Drasmin, go ahead.
So Joanne, and really this is going, first of all, I just want to hold you in sweet love and just send you so much love and just take a moment to acknowledge your strength and your courage to show up, to be seen, and to share where you are in this now, and just holding your tenderness so gently. Thank you for waking up today. Thank you for being here. You have walked so many years. And I want to share with you a practice that really anyone here can use. And this is a writing exercise. So if you're not a writer, this might be a little difficult for you, but I'd really encourage you to write, because there is a very different way the brain processes information when we write it down versus when we speak it out, unless that's really your learning style. And that is, get 2 journals. One is called the Poison Diary. In the Poison Diary, dump everything without judgment, without editing, without filtering, without anything, just dump it. Anytime those thoughts come up, those emotions, all of that ick comes up, just dump it in the Poison Journal and fill as many of them, and then set them on fire and let them go in a ritual fire. That is just you getting the poison out. I call it the Poison Diary. And then the second one is going to be your empowerment diary. And so you're going to just write either 1 to 3 sentences every day. And consistency is really important, because that is part of developing trust with self. You have to show up. You have to be consistent. And in that empowerment, you could look at something in your Poison Diary if you want to. If it's too painful, just let it be the Pandora's box that never sees the light of day again, that will be eventually set in the fire. And in the empowerment diary, write 1 to 3 things where you change something, like similar to what Laureli was sharing. I am now reclaiming my power, really using I am sentences. I am healed. I am healthy. I am worthy of love. I am deserving of peace. 1 to 3 sentences every single day. And that's your practice, to just start rewriting the mind, empty it out, get all the poison out, and then start reclaiming your power with 1 to 3 sentences every day. That is all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. And I want to, one little thing, if it's too much to say, I am healed, I am healing. Right? So make all those gerunds if they're too big. Say, I am whole, even if we're not connected to our own wholeness. All right, Crystal is next.
Hey, thank you for asking your question, and thank you for being here. I want to tell you that I am heartened by your courage and by your willingness to continue to do this work and to keep going deeper within yourself. The part that struck me is when you mentioned about how you're giving parts of yourself away. I also experienced that. And I found that for me, it was like, I wanted somebody to see me. I wanted somebody to validate me. I wanted somebody to love me. And so I would give parts of myself away, like, see me, love me, see how good I am, what I'm offering now, take this. And it took me a long time to figure out that really I needed to give me back to me. If I value myself and love myself, then it takes away that deep need to find another person to do that for me. If we never got that from our parents, then at this point in time, you end up being the parent and giving that lovingness back to yourself. So the journaling thing is great. That's a really excellent place to start. But every day, Spirit's telling me that they want you to look outside and like look at birds, or they want you to listen to your inside self for guidance. I'm getting all this wave of love coming out that wants to surround you, and it wants to wrap you up in like a big, soft, fluffy blanket, like just out of the dryer, you know? The divine wants to do that with you. There are angels that want to be with you and walk with you and love you. So what you need to do is say, yes, please. Yes, please. I would like that. Please, Spirit, come into my life. I want this love. I want this guidance from you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And absolutely. And what's coming is you can hear the guidance. And it sounds like sometimes you get to a place where things are kind of dark inside, and you start to give up, and Spirit wants to say, no, light a candle. Light a candle. And an affirmation that I use that I would say to you is, I am a beloved child of the Most High. And I am worthy of and deserve the blessings I have and the blessings that are surely yet to come.
Beautiful.
All the time. Call on that light. Call on that light, Joanne. They're waiting for you. Operators are standing by.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. DoveLight is next.
Thank you so much for honoring us and sharing your life experience, your voice. It's a blessing to have you at this moment. Thank you. I just keep hearing this Lakota lullaby, so it's like the Divine Mother keeps singing. I will spend those 2 minutes only singing, channeling the singing, healing. So one of the messages that I'm receiving is that if you choose to do so, talk to yourself softly, sing yourself lullabies. It's very important, again, in your case, if it resonates with you, to nurture yourself in a calm way, in a blissful way with your own voice. It's not about singing beautiful or perfect or the pitch. It's not about that. It's your intention. It's your voice. It's about honoring that you have a voice to speak up, and not all voices have to be about screaming and yelling and fighting. And sometimes we are afraid to become like that, or we grew up in those environments saying we are afraid to even explore our own voice. So this is coming up very strongly to practice talking to your body, singing your favorite song in a gentle, beautiful way. Archangel Michael is a strongly, if you don't so believe in Archangel Michael, there is a high energy of protection, a strongly huge protection around you that is holding you and blessing you, so you don't have to pass through the same darkness there was in the past. It was very challenging of growing up. I can feel the deep hurt and sorrow, and my experience doing past life regressions and working with trauma in my cases is that the same way that our body, our mind block our memories so we don't remember when something is challenging, later on your subconscious will show you when you're ready. It will show you when you are ready, when you're able to handle. I have very traumatic experience of abuse that I feel like I'm in a stable place, in a compassionate and loving place. Suddenly I dream and I remember them, and it's not something traumatic. It's like my body and a part of my soul. It's the way that they express themselves. They express through images, through energies, through memories, through dreams. And the only reason why they do it is it's a gift. At the beginnings, I was very scared, like you. Oh, I know something scary happened, something traumatic happened when I was a child. But when I developed the compassion to be able to listen, and it took me a lot of time, and I'm still working on it. Nobody's perfect. It is not a thing that you master in a day or in a short time. I was able to understand that your own body, your own mind, your own soul will express itself to show you when you're ready, when you feel you can take it. And that's a gift because it's been released. You just want to be witnessed. What I'm hearing from your voice, because that's my primary way to connect with the souls, it's that you give too much to others, or you wish to others to be healed because you expect or you wish that that will have happened to you. You're still waiting for that blessing or that compassionate people to come for you. And we have to honor and bless that the past cannot be changed, but you have developed this abundance, this wisdom of knowledge, you have developed this wisdom of values, of an empathy that's very hard to grasp, to come out in this lifetime. And this is when we are able to acknowledge the wisdom within the pain, the wisdom within the hurt, because we stop becoming a victim. We stop becoming in the victim consciousness. And again, it's not about denying that something happened to you and it was not your fault and there were perpetrators, but because time has passed at this moment in your life, you know this, they're telling me that you know that you are responsible for your own life, and your life can change and you can be healed. They're telling me love over fear, love over fear. Love over fear is one of, if you choose to do so, is one of your pillars, because they're telling me that even though you pass through so many hard and traumatic stuff, your heart is able to revive love, to feel love, to give love. And that's a particular signature of your blueprint of your soul. That's a gift from the divine, whatever you believe in the divine, or from the higher love, that even though you pass through these many challenges and these many heaviness, you little by little, you were able to be victorious because you were able to allow love in your heart again. And it's patience, okay? So the protection and all of that. Thank you. I saw this done.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Susy's next.
Hey, Joanne, first off, congratulations on you being in recovery. Well done. I have so many people I wish were, and oh well. So there is, what I'm sensing is that you've got quite a bit of a chemical buildup from your life and from your ancestors' lives. And part of this emotional release is part of that detoxification process. It's not always easy to come off of something, to remove it from your body. But part of that emotional release is helping you. There is also movement you can do. Something so simple. Somebody says, oh, just move through it. And actually physically moving will help you move through more emotions, because it's retraining your body to respond in a different way. So whether you walk or, I don't know, I love to dance. I've been doing that more. Find a part of yourself that you can reclaim. You said you're giving your parts of yourself out. Do something about yourself, for yourself, that was something you can reclaim. So like my dancing, I love just to boogie around. And that's helping me reclaim some of my joy that I had in my body. I also experienced some of the vocal breakup on your Zoom call. And so what I did was check in, and you've got ancestors in front of you who are so blocking your story. They are actually physicalizing that electronic breakdown. And what I encourage you to do is to tell them that they need to cross over. I'll help you. I can send the energy to do it too, because I felt that there was a lot of fear with them about, no, she's going to tell our stories. And it's, whether you do or not, it's up to you to do it. And if they have in fact crossed over, they need to continue forward and go back up into the light so they can do their work. Right now, I felt they were just all so planted here, not wanting you to tell your truth. You get to tell them to take a flying leap, or whatever F word you wish to use. They get to go away and allow you. This is another part of yourself you are reclaiming. They get to go and take their anger, their pain, their addictions with them, so that you have less to process out. It's not your place really to process all of their anger. You've got your own emotions to process, and they can go on to the light. I also saw that one of your guides, I think Archangel Michael was mentioned. He's protected. There's also Mother Mary. And for me, Mother Mary feels like this nice cup of soup. Here, have some soup. I got crunchy bread for you here. And call her in, because she is one of the ultimate comforters. if you will. She was the shoulder people came to cry on. She will love and protect you. And the big thing, the big difference between talking to ancestors, people who have been in body, and talking to your divine beings who are your spirit guides, judgment. Those who have been in body are very happy to judge you and to tell you what you're doing wrong. And those are the ones you can tell, go on through to the light, please. Just go, go, go. I got my own stuff to deal with. Y'all have to deal with yours. And then source will come in and say, you are beautiful. You are wonderful. One of the affirmations I use is every morning when I wake up and I go looking at the mirror, even with my old wild bed hair, I'll say to myself in the mirror, I love you just because. I encourage you to do that to help you. It feels very emotional to me right now to be able to say that and to share that with you. And let's see, does she need that one? Nope. That would be what I would leave this on, is that I love you just because.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. And I'm going to share a few things, and then we've got Drasmin and Crystal have a little bit more. Have you ever had a pet, Joanne, or do you have one now?
There's dogs around me, but they're not mine. I live on a farm with my kids, and there's a couple of dogs here.
You said with your kids?
My adult children.
Okay, but yeah, you're
farm. Yes.
Great. Well, so and then you have kids too. So chances are you felt really close to your kids at various times when they were little. Do you have moments that you felt particularly close and connected?
I don't remember.
Okay,
I don't remember.
Of your own kids, you don't remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah. So just lots and lots of trauma. So do you have a close moment with one of those animals that lives on your property?
Yes.
Petting them and feeling connected and feeling close? Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah. So that connection and closeness is a big part of healing.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you're able to feel some connection and closeness, whether or not it's physical with your adult kids now, or if they have kids.
Yeah, there's connection. I have grandchildren who I'm very connected to.
Great. So you do feel connected with other beings.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So you've healed enough to be able to feel that. And so trust and celebrate the ways that you are open and the ways that you can connect, and trust that you're on your journey, right? Your being is opening and healing. So you may be aware and know that there's more to do, and celebrating what's here, appreciating you and your soul for caring for yourself in the ways that you don't remember things, appreciating that your being is been caring for yourself the best it knows how and having you not remember. Okay. Great. And maybe one thing I'll mention too, you may have done this. Have you done this before, of rubbing your hands together, right? And feeling the energy between your hands?
I might have done that in my life sometime. Yeah, someone suggested that, so to do that.
Yeah, so doing that again too, and then rubbing your hands and feeling the energy and moving your hands in, like when you feel the energy pushing back. So I used to only be able to do it like this close, and I now, like way out, I can, like off the screen, I can feel it. And so letting yourself trust that you can feel that connection and celebrate the way you're able to feel that connection, because those are ways you're opening subtly. And you have to be safe in order to open in that way. So celebrate, all the ways in which, right, this is happening and you're transforming.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, let's see. And so Drasmin, Crystal, and I know we have another question in line, and Maria has something. Maria, if you're able to write in the chat, that would be great. I have everyone muted right now. And if you're able to write, that would be great, so I know what you want. Okay, let's see. So we said Crystal, and then, I think it was Drasmin, Crystal, and now DoveLight. Go ahead, Drasmin. And let's be quick, everyone, because we've got more to do.
So I'll just share two quick things. Joanne, you have grandbabies. What a gift. I invite you to, when you connect with them, without projecting, use that as an opportunity to connect with an aspect of you at that age. And that can be a way that you can really start healing through that literal physical embodiment of an aspect of you in this pure, sweet innocence. You at that age, where were you? What was going on? And that can be a way to just reconnect with that innocent part of yourself. The other thing I want to share is, sometimes when there's been so much trauma that you just want to forget. I get it. I was severely addicted to narcotics and pills through my 20s. And I had a really hard time connecting with my spirit guides, connecting with animals, connecting with people. Like, screw all of you. You all suck. Okay. That was my attitude for a long time. And then I found this book, Women Who Run with the Wolves. If you don't know this book, get it and take your time reading it, because this book is a collection of woman stories. And it's not, it's a book for women, but I encourage all beings to read it regardless of gender, because it can help you connect with different aspects of your feminine essence in a tangible way that's just like your companion. And this book can just be like your Bible. This book became my Bible for 3 years, and it really allowed me to get comfortable with the different aspects, including and especially the disassociation. So I just wanted to put that recommendation out there, because
Thank you.
Yeah, this book is fabulous. I'm leading a women's circle right now with this book, reading it for the 3rd time. Life-changing book. Highly recommend.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Drasmin, Crystal, and then DoveLight.
Hello again. So in this moment, I would just like you to take a moment and just feel how you're feeling right now. Because to me, you feel more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
There's a greater softening inside for you. There's a feeling of safety because you got witnessed by all these readers as well as the audience, and you let yourself be seen, and you asked for what you wanted and you got it. So the reason I'm saying all these things is I want you to feel how that feels inside, because that's a baseline. You can call that feeling back and go, I've felt that before. I have been in a place where I felt safe. I was able to receive and take stuff in. I was heard. My wants were listened to and they were answered.
Thank
Right?
you. Yes.
Okay. So that's something that you can recall that back, and you felt it in the body. So feel how your body feels right now as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So now you got a baseline. You've got something you can refer back to. That's how that was your experience, not anybody else. That's for you.
Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome.
All right, DoveLight is next.
Can I be now? I couldn't. I'm picking up very strongly. I don't want to overwhelm you with so much beautiful information we have received. It's the reminder that we are not our feelings. Feelings are a gift. Emotions are a gift. We are meant to feel them. We're meant to let them through. But you are not your sadness. Don't identify with that. You can feel sadness. You can feel happy. You can feel joy. You can feel anger. But you're not per se those emotions. Those are gifts to be felt. That's not who you are in essence. So it's absolutely normal and absolutely okay to allow that sorrow, that deep wounded, to be felt, because only by feeling it is that you can release it. You can put it in paper, you can put it through dancing, you can put it to anything that you want, but it's looking for an expression to be felt. So what they're telling me, it's absolutely nothing wrong with being crying and with being anger and with being sometimes even depressed of what happened. What it's not balanced that we humans do, it's we hold it for too long, we attach, we identify with it, when in reality it is not who we are. It's just something that we have passed through and it can be moved. So please understand that just because you are feeling like that, that doesn't mean there is something wrong with you or you're in your worst situation. You're just actually allowing a space to be freed. It's okay. So please honor how you feel at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, DoveLight. All right. Thank you so much, Joanne, for coming on and asking and letting us support you.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. All right. Next we have, I think, Mandy. So Mandy, it's up to you if you want to turn on your video, and I'll bring you up here in Spotlight. Let's see where you are. And if you want, you can just unmute. Where are you? Are you still here? Where is Mandy? Oh, Mandy maybe has left. Let me see if I could. Do you see Mandy anywhere? Oh, let's get you unmuted.
Mhm.
Susie, did you see her somewhere?
I see a Mandy, all lowercase, Mandy.
Oh, let me go
But I
get.
know telling you where I see
Here,
her on
yes,
my
yes,
screen
yes,
is
yes,
not
yes.
useful.
Great. Okay, Mandy, I'm asking you to unmute. Hey, did you want to come up on screen? Did you want to turn on your video? You don't have to.
Yes, I do. I'm trying to figure out how
Okay,
to do
great.
that.
I just gave you a prompt.
Okay.
Okay, great. Let me bring you up. All right. Yeah. So thank you for wanting to ask a question. Thank you for letting us be here with you. And thanks for all your shares on the chat. Yeah. So what do you want to share
Yeah.
about? What's your question?
Well, thank you guys all so much for being here. Like I've never been in any kind of this level of healing. Although that I know I need it. I think that I just need kind of a starting point. I've had a lot of addiction personally in my family, drug addiction, alcoholism, abuse, sexual abuse as a kid, traumatic past, like a lot of you guys were talking about. And it is trickling down, now for me to where I'm struggling, and I'm scared that my kid is absorbing it. Absorbing my anxiety and my depression and my addiction. And like the other lady who shared that she had been in recovery, and I've been in recovery as well. But I just the inner child in me, how I can get in touch with that and how I can continue to heal. I haven't been able to find a therapist that I can have continuity of care with, and follow up with them and connect with, resonate with. So I really just want, I don't know if you guys know anything like that the spirit can tell me or lead me in the right direction. I'm pretty broken and pretty lost and disassociated and all of those things. And I want to be present. I want to be joyful. I know there's more to life than what I'm allowing myself to have, because of the mental blocks I have, I guess. I don't know what it is, like anxiety and depression, addiction, which again, I'm in recovery, but I just, even in my adult life, like my mom, she tortures me still to this day. My dad, he's estranged. So it's just like a mix of everything that's never ended. Like I've never been able to escape it, and I've never been able to heal from it. So I'm very lost inside, and like I just want to be able to, throughout this panel here, I've done some of the things, took the deep breath and tried to talk to my inner child, and I just haven't been able to connect with that for some reason.
And I want to encourage you, just first off, you said some of the things of present tense, and I want to encourage you again to go to past tense. Like I have been broken and I'm healing. I'm now healing. Right? It's so great that you're in recovery. It's so great that you came today. You've been here the whole time. You have taken things in from being here. Right? So you are on your journey. Right? So the more that you can know, I am healing.
It's
That's
just
part of the
like,
healing
how do I
process.
heal?
And you don't even have to know how. You just have to acknowledge for yourself that you are.
I want to be.
And it's that you are. I am healing. What is it like for you to say I am healing?
I am healing. But
I encourage you just so great. So take your hand off your face and just to say I am healing, and take a breath.
I am healing. I am
breathe. Breathe. Yeah. that you are healing. And then being with the breath, right? More feelings may come up. Yeah. And just a reminder that I shared earlier.
Mhm.
Right? So having something else that you can cuddle and hold, it can be even a soft scarf. The way that you're cuddling and holding, and if it's helpful to imagine, right, this is you, this is little you. They're parts of you.
Yeah, I saw you have the stuffed animal, and I thought, well, that's, maybe I could try that. I tried hugging myself. I have my child in there in the bed, and usually we cuddle at night, but it's just that I feel that he absorbs my vibrations. I know he does. If I'm anxious, his personality changes, and I'm projecting this cycle onto him, which
Okay,
is what I don't want to do.
He's empathic and he's picking things up, and you're empathic, so you're picking up the changes in him. So owning that you're empathic, right? The more
Yes,
you can own and celebrate about yourself, right? And so it helps you because it helps you stay away from people that are not good for you, right? And as much as you're learning that.
I have said I am an empath to a fault. Like I will take on other people's problems,
And
I just feel pain.
It wasn't safe to have boundaries as a kid. It wasn't safe to have healthy boundaries. And so you're on the journey of learning healthy boundaries now.
Yeah. And I'm just struggling. Like I want to get in with one of you guys or something.
And I want to encourage you, you may be feeling struggle, and you're also taking steps. Yeah, and all of us work with people directly, and I'll put our information in the chat again. So there are lots of qualified people to work with that have lots of training that aren't therapists. So if you're having trouble finding a therapist, there are lots of other people. And
I've tried.
What state are you in?
West Virginia.
Okay, yeah. So finding practitioners that are very qualified to work in your state. But yeah, so we're not therapists, so we can work all kinds of cross boundaries. All right, let's see. So we've got Susy, DoveLight, Drasmin, and Crystal in line. So let's have you hear from Susy first.
Cool. Hey, Mandy.
Hi.
As Laureli said, you are beginning to heal, and it's not always like this bolt of lightning coming at you or somebody hitting you on the head with the wand saying, go out and play. You're healed. It takes time. It takes time. And the fact that you are here, the fact that you've asked a question is an excellent indicator that you are starting. This is a starting point. I love that Laureli is addressing language that's important to me. Like when I use my affirmations, I love you just because. I have an affirmation for you for your empathic ability. And also it's something you can teach your son. And that is, I am I, and you are you. And in between this is God, love, source, whatever you want to put in there. But it helps to separate you, because as an empath, you are going to take on a bunch of stuff, and learning to clear that, understanding what is your energy and what is somebody else's energy is important. That applies also to, I think you were talking about your mom somewhere. I think it was in the chat. No, you were saying that. You can say that when you're thinking about her. I am I, and she is she, and in between us is God. And it's okay to separate yourself from family. It's okay. Then I got, what else? Healing starts small. And then the clearing yourself from other people's energy. Sometimes you can feel in your body, I got a pain in my shoulder. Is that mine? That's the big question for you right now as you're starting on this. Is that mine? It's not. I am I, and you are you, and in between us is God, and you send it off to source. I would also recommend you learn how to protect, which is, I call it a hamster ball of God. I just surround myself with source light, source love, and I roll around like, I don't know, there was a character in some movie some long time ago. It was a hamster, and it was just this hamster ball, and you're rolling around, and that protection prevents more of other people's energy dumping on you. You're going to find once you get really good at it and can feel that your mind is quiet, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? The chatter's not there. And that's when you call in the guides. And it could be Archangel Michael, who helps with protection, or Mother Mary. I feel you've got somebody else in there that I haven't, that's the, I'm not really getting clear information on it because you've got dragons with you who are ready to
What's that
help.
mean?
Dragons are another aspect of source, and they hold a lot of ancient wisdom in it. They show up in whatever color or form that you want. The press that says they go screaming through towns and burning it all up is just fictional writing. Dragons are very strong and they are very patient, and they will come to you when you ask. All of your guides, any guides in general, come to you when you ask for the help. That helps to reduce that feeling that you're alone and not able to do the things, but asking the guides for help. Is that your
Sorry.
young one?
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
no. Hey, bud. Hey, bud.
He's trying to say
See,
hi to
he's
you
got,
guys earlier. I was like, they
yeah,
can't
it's
hear
all
you.
right.
But how do
But
I access these dragons?
go ahead. How do you?
How do I
Okay.
access these
So
dragons?
you ask for their help. Whatever guides I have that can help me in this moment, I call them in. And if you see them as a dragon, if you see them as Mother Mary, as you see them as an angel, that's up to you. They're going to present themselves in a way that's accessible to you and helps you to relate to them. So that's my time. Thanks a lot, Mandy. Hang in
Thank you
there.
so much.
Keep the faith, dear. You've got this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Susie. All right, we've got DoveLight next, and others that are asking about whether they can ask a question in the chat. Unfortunately, we're running out of time for today, and we will schedule this theme again. And we do have other panels where you can ask any question. Let's see. So we've got, and we might want to, it might be Mandy, you've got some background noise, so we might mute you in between, but I need you to be, I want you to be able to unmute and ask too. If you have comments or questions. Let's see. So we've got DoveLight next.
Okay, thank you. First, I would love to acknowledge that. Thank you very much, because I used to believe in the past, because I grew up a lot of people with addiction too, that they didn't value life or they didn't care. I was always trying to survive myself from people with addiction, when in reality I was able to understand that they are the ones who want to live, just want to feel numb. It's too much, they feel too much. They actually, people who are in addictions, they actually want to live. It wants to live, but it feels so hard to feel, so hard to be present because of all the challenge in the past in life. So just the fact that you are here and you are willing to ask for help when help hasn't worked in other different ways, it means a lot, because you are giving yourself a chance. You're willing to be open to see different ways. They're extremely screaming at me, perception, perception, perception. To me, this is telling me that sometimes it's about changing our perception, because you have lived very not so nice things. I don't know if there is a kid there, but I the first thing I was picking up is a GUN pointing at me, and it was very threatening. And that was telling me that either you passed through very life-threatening experience, or you actually have put your life in the line many times, and that has put there is like this deep pain in your heart, but it's also your perception that because your ancestors were there, because your parents were there, because life didn't work, because this and that, that you generally cannot see outside that box, in the sense that you still are carrying the belief that that's the way it's gonna be, that's the only way it's gonna be. And because you have this light that wants to, it's open to see something different, but what they're telling me is that our perception is based on the facts that we have lived in the human experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the truth. You can change your life. You can have a different outcome than your parents and your ancestors. You can have a successful partnership. You can move on. You can recover from addiction if you choose to believe it, if you choose to move your perceptions. You might not know how exactly yet, but if you're willing to be open to change your perception that you are unique, you come from your ancestor, you come from your lineage, you cannot change what happened because it already happened. But it can be different. What they're telling me with you right now, it's that letting it go doesn't mean that you are bypassing what happened, bypassing your feeling, there's a strong pain in your heart, even betrayal, I feel. But what happened, you are not bypassing that. You will acknowledge and feel it at your own time. What they're telling me that is, if you keep with the same thought, with the same feelings, with the same perception, everything's gonna be done. And this is what, and my dad was like, you're going to create the same outcome, And the angelic realm and the people, the higher beings, they will help you to have a different way of life, a different, something that's more healthy, more you, more beautiful, because you still have pureness in your heart. They're telling me they have not, that has not left you, even though you have lived more life than regular people or typical people have lived through. You still are able to carry the life, but you have to believe it. You have to reconnect it. Your life can be different. And for all of that, we need to allow to change the perception. One of the ways it has worked is to reprogramming, hypnosis, affirmations, meditations, allowing time to go to the space when you feel calm enough to hear a recording, record your own voice. This is actually, like Drasmin was saying at the beginning, constant. You have to be willing, because I also feel in your energy field a big self-sabotage energy blockage. It's self-sabotage because sometimes we have this how you call it in English, loyalty to the family lineage. It's unconscious. There is a loyalty that is not allowing you yourself to even dare to believe that you can have a different life than what has happened before you, what you grow up sewing. But yet there is a light in you who is still pushing, who still knows it. So it feels almost like the wolf, the dark side and the light side, the good side and the not so good side. And it's up to you to choose which one are you willing to feed, because it's not gonna be a one-day thing. Sometimes you're not gonna feel like waking up or moving on or something, but you are going to allow yourself to love enough to see that even though you feel at this moment this way, you're willing to be present for yourself, and you will allow yourself patience to keep moving and moving on. So there is a big celebration coming up. I don't know if somebody's birthday is coming up, but they're telling me that there is a big celebration coming up soon where you're gonna have fun times and you can practice seeing things different, or just allowing to be present in a celebration at the moment. Happiness, you're aware that being happy means that you're in the right fight. When you actually are able to feel happiness, allow yourself, because happiness is only moments. Happiness, it's only moment. It's not like everybody's happy 100% 24 hours. That's not a good concept of happiness. We choose to be happy. Even in the worst situation, we can choose to be happy. So give with our expectation. They also telling me that you grew up in an environment when you always have to get something in order to get something else. Like there was not really, oh, here you go because you are you, or you deserve it. So there is also this strong belief that needs to be changed or clear from your energy field in your mind about give without expecting something. And this is also telling me that it's about believing that you can be helped as well. Because something in you with the therapist also, they're telling me that you don't believe that they can help you because you don't believe that they expect you to be healed or something on that. Oh, like, and that's what I'm picking up for you for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
DoveLight. I know we all just have so much we want to share. So Drasmin is next. Let's get you unmuted.
Okay, Mandy. So I'm going to ask you, do you have a glass of water or something that you can pick up right next to you?
Not right next to me. I do have a bottle of water in here,
Okay.
though.
So I want you to try to pick it up.
I got it.
See, did you try or did you actually do it?
I think I actually did it.
There you go. So that's your starting point. Get rid of the word try. Every single time you use the word try, you disempower yourself because there is no try. I know I sound like Yoda, but that is true. There is no try. You're thirsty, you're going to pick up the glass of water. You know, you're wanting to be healed, so you showed up today. You didn't try to show up today, you did it. You know, you wanted to be heard, so you spoke your truth. So that I invite you to be your starting point and really just focus on that. Because once you eliminate that word, your life is going to dramatically change because you realize that you're not ever actually trying to do anything. You're always doing something. Even if all you did today was you woke up and, earlier I shared that ABC grounding practice. I woke up today. I'm in my body. It's safe to be me. That's it. There is no try. You're doing it. You woke up today. You showed up. You got dressed. You took care of your baby. It's all about those little steps. So start catching yourself every time you say that word try, and let that be the number one focus of the mental rewriting that you're working on right now. And the other thing I want to share, earlier, Maria asked, does anyone getting a channel message for me? And this card flew out, but then when you came on, this card flew out again. And the affirmation is, I am selfish enough to want to feel good. So write that down and just repeat that to yourself anytime. I am selfish enough to want to feel good. My thoughts, my feelings, I matter. Everyone else, yeah, you know what? It's okay. I can feel for them, but that's not my thoughts. I am selfish enough to want to feel good. All right. And yes, I am willing to feel good. That's a good one too. Because selfish can be a tricky word. So if that word makes you uncomfortable, I'm willing to feel good is a wonderful revision. Thank you, Laureli. Blessings
That's
to you.
great.
And
I
so
love,
much
I
love,
love my,
Mandy.
Thank you
yes, I
so
love
much.
my,
Thank you so much. And I really liked what you have, Drasmin, because the trauma decluttering, all of the trauma that I've never resolved. I feel like that's really the core here of my issues. Like, I've never gotten in touch with that inner child. I've never.
Stop right here. You are getting in touch right now. You have already gotten in touch by showing up today. Okay, here's where the revision happens. And this is how working with me is. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut off all of those weak, empowering, disempowering words. I showed up today. I am healing my inner child by showing up and voicing what makes me angry and unhappy and disconnected. And I'm doing this because I love myself. I am willing to feel good. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm showing up. I'm doing it. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
and all the ways that you
Thank
are
you so
loving
much.
of your, all the ways that you are loving of your child. It is your inner child that is loving, that's showing up, that's able to love your child, your physical offspring child, right? The ways that you're loving, that's because you're connected with your own self.
Okay.
All right, we've got Crystal next.
Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
You are doing this.
Thank you.
You are doing this. Lots of
This
great
is literally step
information.
one.
Well, that's okay, because you're building a foundation that you can build your life on. You don't start with the roof, you start with the foundation, and that's what you're in the process of doing. What was coming up for me about yourself is your family has pushed a ton of burdens onto you that you're supposed to fix for all of them, and that's simply not possible. We can't go to the gym and build muscles for somebody else. That just doesn't work. They've made it all your problem, and the thing is, they've made it your problem, and you're not allowed to have anything until you fix all their problems. You're not worthy enough until you fix all their problems. Bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. That paradigm needs to go right out the door. It never was yours to begin with. Have you heard the term of legacy burden?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Your family's been doing this for generation after generation after generation. You are here to bust that situation, to release the lineage of that burden. Your child, your son, I believe, boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what he's here for too, is to live his life now without carrying this burden, because you're not willing to put that burden on him.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
as you continue to do this work, you will heal your family. They might not be able to talk about it or feel it because of how toxic they are in the body, but literally you are going to clear a lot of stuff by simply clearing and healing yourself. It will go back, reverberate back through your lineage.
So how can I continue this journey? Like, just keep joining these groups? I mean,
Well, the next thing I wanted to ask you was, you say in your recovery, yes?
mm,
So what's the first step?
admitting that we're powerless over alcohol and drugs.
And you're relying on your higher power, correct?
Yes.
So how's
Yes.
your relationship with your higher power?
I have been very, very disassociated, disconnected. I can't seem to pull that back into my heart again. I've been praying, trying to say, God, please come back in. I need you now,
Okay.
but I'm having trouble. I mean, I'm going to try to go to church Sunday. Like I'm having trouble reconnecting.
Every day is Sunday. Every minute is Sunday. You don't have to wait for a special day in the week to have connection to spirit. The reason I asked you about your HP is because I have several friends that are in recovery, and we talk all the time about using the steps for them as their spiritual practice because they're coming at it from a spiritual direction.
Yes.
You don't have to earn anything in order to ask spirit to come in. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to have the magic golden ticket. There's nothing. It's simply asking, please come and be with me. Please walk with me. Please guide me. Please be with me. We have to ask because we have free will, but the divine is always with us, always 24/7, nonstop. You are unfortunately believing that you're not worthy enough to let goodness come back into your life.
It's because I messed up in my recovery. I had a relapse.
That's okay.
And
Yep.
it brought me really, really, really down. And I felt so much guilt because of my kid.
Right.
And just I don't know, I lost touch with, like I said, God and myself. My mental state is it completely sent me over the edge mentally.
Right.
With my anxiety and depression and everything. And my mom is in active addiction. And
right. So if at all possible, you should not be having any kind of contact with your mom. Mm-hmm. They did a study with rats. They put rats in a cage with everything. They called it rat heaven. Everything a rat could want. Other rats to play with, other rats to have sex with, other rats to groom, other rats that there was food. Everything they wanted was provided for. In the other case, and they also put heroin in the water bottle and then a regular water. In the other group, they didn't give them anything. All they could have was water or heroin. The group that had everything they wanted, none of those rats touched that heroin. They didn't want it. They had everything they needed. We turn to narcotics and alcohol and stuff to self-medicate, to cut that pain, to get that pain because we can't stand it. It's so freaking brutal. We can't handle it, right? Mm-hmm. So I choose that as a way to say, well, it's because you're allergic. You're allergic to all this garbage that got dumped on you. And so now you're in recovery, which is cool because you are recognizing that you don't have to self-medicate anymore. You can actually take charge of your life, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, so, I want to take my life back, and I want to be me,
right.
and I want to.
That's right.
I want to heal the inner child. I know that she's hurt. I mean, there's a lot of trauma there too.
Yeah. So one step at a time, right? One moment at a time. That's all we have anyways. It's from moment to moment to moment. So the advice you were given about keeping it in present time, not going back to the past or not saying I'm trying. We build our lives from moment to moment. And when you hold positive energy, you're setting up a foundation for more positive energy into the next moment. It's one step, one step, one step. The littlest things that you are learning how to do that we're talking about today, start doing it. One step, one step, one step.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and please open up again. Ask. These angels are here for you. Your guides are here for you. You are very gifted, as everyone has said. So start.
It doesn't feel that way.
Well, it's because you got to get a little farther down the road. But if you start this and keep doing the work, you won't recognize yourself in 6 months.
I want to keep doing the work. I'm gonna, reference to the chat and try to follow with the groups or get in
No
a session.
try.
Yeah.
Oh, not try.
Yeah.
I'm
Do.
going to do it.
Yes.
No try, only do. You can even put a post-it up about that. Put it in the mirror where you see it every morning. No try, only do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote
And
it on my notepad too.
All right.
Now, encourage you. Someone wrote in the chat that relapse is part of recovery.
Yes.
They said you're only capable, only up from here. And someone else wrote that relapse is part of every healing journey. Right?
Yeah.
Like forward, back, forward, back.
I had 8 years and I built an entire life and I accomplished a lot of things and
And I just want to encourage you, right? So the path forward can be faster because you have experience traveling this path. So you can do this. You can do this. You are doing this.
You still have those 8 years. That's 8 years that you didn't have before those 8 years. So, okay,
Yeah.
you know what? You slipped. You know what the best part about falling down is? The only way is up. So keep going up. And I just want to say one thing about the church thing. Go to nature. Literally just step outside barefoot, find a tree. That's church. Nature is the purest church. You can go to her anytime, any day. And I say this to everyone, go. Nature is church.
Yep.
That's where you really feel the mother holding you, especially under a tree.
Yep.
Yes.
Right?
I agree with that totally.
Stand on the ground, hug a tree, listen to a bird, look at the stars, all these things.
Pick 88 daisies crawling around in the middle of the day, sweating your butt off, Look at that smile. Can we all take a moment and applaud Mandy and that beautiful smile that we are seeing now? So much came out.
There she
is. Thank you, guys.
And we have tons of free events. You can come listen to our events, even if you don't know if the theme applies to you. Just listen while you're doing other things. Right? We have a fair tomorrow. We have a panel on Monday. We've got lots and lots of events. People are asking for like, this is part 1. We need 2, 3, and 4. We had 1 already. This is part 2. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this theme again. So this is so important that we're all doing this. So Mandy, you're helping everybody doing this by coming on and asking the question.
Well, thank you guys so much. And I've been kind of running around doing laundry, listening, but it resonated with me. And now my kid's crying for me, but
it's great. But I want you to know you've been of service being here and asking the question. You've not only let us support you, you're supporting other people.
Well, thank you guys so much for that. And I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to be of some kind of, positivity to anyone. God put me here tonight. Some spirit, some dragon, some God, put me here tonight to be on this call.
Yes.
And I'm putting in the chat, DoveLight was recommending a free audiobook. So I put it right in the bottom of the chat. So if you can get to your chat, you can go find it.
And I just bought the book off of Amazon, the Wolf book, The Woman and the Wolf. I bought it when they were talking about it.
Great.
So I'm hoping that will resonate with me like it did the other person who was talking about it.
All right,
And
great.
be patient with your process. Be gentle with yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm really bad. Like someone said.
Oh, no, wait. Reroute. Say it again. I'm taking steps. I'm learning. I'm growing. Sometimes I see opportunities where I could do better.
I beat myself to death, like.
Wait. This is a reroute. I used to do that.
You really need to get that poison diary, Mandy. Like seriously, woman.
These are all poison states.
Get that poison diary and do it with your child.
Yes, he's almost 3, and I wrote that down. I think that's something that could be beneficial.
And you doing this on your own without him energetically shifts things, so you're supporting him also.
Yeah, I just want to be better for him. I don't want him to have to grow up like I did,
And we want you to also want to be better for you. If he's a motivator and he gets you to do it, great. And we want you to find the place where you're doing it for you because you are also worthy.
Yeah.
I would like to get to that place too, because I don't think I've ever been there.
You are on your way to that place.
That's right.
You.
You're on your way. You have been taking steps there.
Mhm.
You
Thank
definitely,
you guys so
definitely
much.
have.
The
You guys
little,
know have
even the littlest thing is legit. Do not assign a value to it. Do not discount it. The littlest step is just as important. They all add up.
And I
Okay.
unmuted, asked Susie and DoveLight if they want to jump in and say anything too. They were. Yeah.
No, I'm sitting here agreeing enthusiastically. I don't know how many times you all want me to go woo woo. And all that. But yeah, Mandy, you got this.
Thank you so much.
We love you just because.
Yeah.
Well, I love you ladies too. All of you are, I mean, I want to be on your level.
Oh,
And I'm going to get there one of these days.
yeah,
That's
we
great.
are
That's great.
absolutely no better or worse than you in any way. We just have different, we're unique. We all have different, there is diversity in this world. I recommend you the audiobook. Also, it's free. Put affirmations in the background or music when the thoughts gets too alarming and too much. And perhaps not even trying to quiet your mind is working, just put music, sound, something good like, cause I'm happy, anything that uplifts you. It will be good, but I recommend you the Louise Hay audiobook and the affirmations. It's gonna help a lot.
Lots of videos on YouTube as well.
And
What kind of videos on YouTube? Like,
Well, there's ones that are soothing. There's ones that are
oh, just like for the
clearing your
noise.
energy.
Okay.
Yeah. The one I found recently is a therapist named Patrick Tian, who has done a series of videos about toxic family systems, trauma in childhood. He's got several of them, and they're very informative. He's done his own healing process, and he's a therapist. And they're free on YouTube, right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So,
A great resource to start looking at.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you
Great.
guys so much.
Yeah.
thank you so much, Mandy.
We love you so much.
Yeah.
I love you guys too. And I hope that I'll be seeing a lot of you again soon.
That's great. We
Ditto.
hope so as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have come to the end of our panel. So we're going to have everyone check out and say more again who we are, what we do, where you can find us, specials. I just put them in the chat again. And I'm also going to put in our upcoming events. I'll just say tomorrow, Saturday, April 29 from 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. If you go to the same link, joinmeweonline.com or jointhefair.com, goes to the same page. We have an online fair. So we have 10 practitioners, 11 practitioners that will be offering all kinds of gifts. We do a short intuitive panel where we answer questions for free. And on Sunday, we have a practice circle from 5 to 7:30 p.m. and it usually goes late. This is Pacific time, where you can practice your gifts with peers, even if it's just intuition and you don't even know if you're intuitive. You can come practice. Monday, May 1, we have a panel, shielding and piercing through curses. And Mandy, that's an example of one that would be great for you to listen to. So that's at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Wednesday, May 3, we have Start Grow Your Intuitive Business, mentoring and coaching drop-in group. So tons and tons of resources. All right, let's see. So let's actually, DoveLight, if you're ready, let's start with you. And we'll go around and we'll have everyone share.
Who, me? Oh, okay. My name is DoveLight from DoveLightOracle.com, and it was my honor and blessing to be here in your presence. I have a coupon for any type of reading, so we can find out a divine insight or where are you at in your life journey, your healing journey. If you have any questions, they can also use the coupon Spring for any of my sessions. So we can involve past life regression, ancestral healing, psychopon, working with your voice, extraction, clearing cords, a lot of things. Anyway, I was happy to be here. And good night, everybody.
And your website, if you didn't say it, I'm going to say it again, DoveLightOracle.com. All right. Susie, you want to go next?
Gotta unmute
Yeah,
her.
okay. Yeah, as soon as I said you got to unmute me, everything comes up. So I'm Susy Parker Goins of Blue Lightning Healing and Blue Lightning Healing Meditations. I'm a channel bringing through source and giving you messages, or actually talking as your guides as you need it. I do past life exploration and resolution, ancestral healing, light language, and what else? A lot of other stuff. My website is bluelightninghealing.com. I'm going to be at the the PNW Witches Market in Kirkland this weekend. That's Sunday, and I do a lot of Laureli's in-person and online events. I'm excited that we got this chance to explore this topic with so many amazing people. And you can find me at bluelightninghealing.com. I've got a discount. MeWe 20 gives you 20% off as any kind of a session, and we do whatever you need to in the session to help you move forward. So it's not limited to a particular thing. So thank you very much, and we will see you all later.
Thanks, Susie. And if those of you don't know where Kirkland is, it's in the Seattle area. So if you're in Seattle, yeah, you can check out Susie on Sunday afternoon. That's all right. Yeah. All right, Crystal, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Crystal Novak. I'm a psychic reader and energy healer. Been doing this work for about 40 years. Laureli's just put my information up on the chat. I work on a sliding scale. That's why I'm not offering a discount. If you feel drawn to me, like we have this connection and you want to do the work, feel free to go to my site. You can send me email from there and we can start a dialogue about stuff. Thank you.
And your website is openheartpathllc.com.
Yes. Thank you, Lorelei.
You're welcome. And Drasmin is next.
Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up today, whether you shared your voice, your face, your silent witness, your silent presence. All of you is seen, felt, heard, honored. Thank you so much. So much love to all of you. I am Drasmin. I am an empowerment ally, a guide to support you with decluttering the mind, decluttering the trauma, so you can tap into your sovereignty and thus activate your highest passionate purpose in the human experience. I offer free 15-minute consults for new clients once every 2 months. All of that information is in the chat. And I am a part of the MeWe online fair tomorrow evening. So if you're interested in receiving that full body chakra clearing, I will be offering that at the event if you find yourself in a space to receive that. And if not, you're welcome to connect with me via email. And I look forward to just holding space and seeing how I might support you with just connecting even more with that sweet richness that you already are.
So great. And can you just tell us again about your website and what it...
Yes. Okay. My website, www.ddom.spa, is actually my artist website, but my online market on there does have a whole bunch of empowerment content, some free downloadables. Most of my offerings are super low price. And if you want to receive something and you don't have the funds, please reach out directly, because I'm about supporting you more than the money. You know, that helps. But if you really need the support, reach out. But I feel that there's a lot of good content in that market to at least get you going, get you started.
Great, thank you. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes, read your soul, read your body, read your present state moment, and I answer questions about your soul, your path, your purpose. It could be career path, relationships. I love to use this for matchmaking to help you find people for whatever you're up to, be it romance, starting a business, anything like that. I have matchmaking drop-in classes, drop-in coaching, dating coaching, and matchmaking events where I give you support on your dating journey. I do the drop-in events with Lisa for supporting you starting and growing your intuitive business, and I host all these different MeWe events. You can meet with us online, you can meet with us in person, and I do 20-minute mini consultation sessions so you can get to know me and my work and get a sample of my work and find out if you'd like to work with me. I have a sliding scale. I offer a lower price for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations for my private sessions and for almost all the events that I do, for practitioners being in our fairs, all kinds of things like that. You can find out about all of our events at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. And the online page is jointhefair.com or joinmeweonline.com. You can get it from the front page of our website too. Thank you everyone for being here, for wanting to open and grow and support everyone in their healing and support yourself in your healing, reclaiming your wholeness. And thank you so much for supporting all of us practitioners to be able to give more of these events. Thank you practitioners for being here.